Three, two, one.
3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1. Okay, well,
3, 2, 1.
awesome. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Nature Check, the show where you come for the game and stay for the science. First, we do introductions because we're teeny tiny and nobody knows who we are, but I hope you care who we are. Hi, I'm Sheryl. I'm the Dungeon Master for Nature Check. I'm also a PhD student studying ecology at the University of Illinois at Chicago, and when I'm not doing research, I'm also a science communicator, and I'm the host and creator of the Roving Naturalist on YouTube. Next is Peter.
Hey, my name's Peter. I am an entomologist who works as an agriculture agent in Maryland. Means I teach the public about agricultural science, and a lot of times that overlaps with entomology, so I do insect pest management, sustainable agriculture, and all kinds of other fun stuff.
Awesome. And next is Ryan.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I'm an entomologist in Pittsburgh. I do integrated pest management and plant health care at a public conservatory and botanical garden. So a lot of entomology and a lot of other stuff too, taking care of plants and also doing a lot of public education in the realm of everything related to plants and horticulture and plant health.
Marvelous. And Joe.
Hi, I'm Joe Ballinger. I am a PhD student at the University of Wyoming, and I am trying to figure out why weeds hurt crops.
Alrighty, and unfortunately, Nancy will not be joining us today because she has a highly successful business, but she will be back next Saturday, February 1st, and if you want to see more of both Nancy and myself, I'll be releasing an interview video I did with Nancy on Thursday, January 30th, so that's next Thursday, and then the day after that, so Friday, January 31st, she'll be interviewing me on her Periscope channel, so yeah, we'll be around. Yep. If you are watching Nature Check right now live on Twitch or Periscope, first of all, thank you for being here. We really hope you'll enjoy what you're going to see this evening. And secondly, if you have any questions for the cast, please put them in the chat on Twitch or Periscope, and I'll do my best to catch them. Or you can tag one of our mods like VronVZ or Eric J. Early or Embodod, and they'll make sure that the question gets addressed at some point. And that leads me into our last bit of housekeeping, which is the socials. You can find Nature Check on Twitter at @CheckNature, so please follow us there for updates and the game schedule, and please subscribe to Nature Check or follow or whatever, both here on Twitch and on our YouTube channel. Every game session will be uploaded, archived on the YouTube channel, and that's also where you can find our after-show recaps, our nature chats on there, so definitely go check that out. Follows and subs both on Twitch and on YouTube really help the channel grow, and if you didn't know this already, if you have an Amazon Prime account, you get one free Twitch subscription every month through your Amazon Prime account, so if you weren't already using it for some other Twitch channel, consider subscribing to Nature Check on Twitch through Amazon Prime. You can also access Nature Check everywhere you find podcasts, so please give us a listen and share us with your friends and your enemies. And you can find all of the social media information for tonight's players and basically the cast and crew of Nature Check down in the reference section below. As a special treat, we've started adding some new content to the Nature Check Twitch channel this month. Emily Dodd did an amazing first playthrough of the Untitled Goose Game last Saturday. It was really, really funny. And this week, I'll be starting to play games on alternating Wednesday afternoons. So please come and hang out with us and talk about science while we play video games, because we're uber nerds. Does anybody else have anything like to plug?
I will say at the end of the month, if you live in Maryland and you are interested in poultry, on Leap Day, February 29th, I'm going to be having a poultry workshop here in Carroll County. You can see that on the Carroll County Extension Facebook page.
Neat. A poultry workshop, not a paltry workshop.
No, it's not paltry at all. It's a very robust poultry workshop. Full panel of experts and nerds, and I'll be there. I'll be talking about predator control. So hopefully, if you have problems with raccoons or foxes or whatever, I'll tell you how to deal with them as I would deal with them, not as Cedric would deal with them, which is just eating them.
I really like that when you said raccoons, your southern came out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I should also say that January apparently is a great month for science communicators because 2 of us had birthdays this month. So happy birthday, Joe!
Oh, yeah.
Both of you guys.
Yeah. Wait, when was your birthday, Sheryl? I've been so out of it this month.
Just over a week before yours.
Oh, okay. Happy birthday to you.
Thanks. And with that, I guess we should get started. Civilizations grew, flourished, and fell on the continents of Lacedas for hundreds of years. But in the year 885, everything changed. Where once the gods of the pantheon held sway over various continents and made their presence known in frequent and tangible ways to mortals, now a dread silence and emptiness reigned. Civilizations fell into internal turmoil, and tensions mounted between empires. The faiths of nations were shaken, and new versions of old religions began to sprout. Spells once commonplace and relied upon, those that required the gods' particular attentions, no longer functioned. Access to and contact with all other planes disappeared or seemed blocked. The continent of Arda, still colloquially known as the God's Garden, was once the sacred and protected realm of Obed-Hai and Elana. At the moment of the loss, the strong protective spells surrounding the continent fell, and the shores and interior became accessible to any who wished entry on whatever business. In 952, a ship from the Tenebrian Navy took shelter in the large river mouth at the southeastern corner of Arda, and the sailors erected a small fort for protection. Over the years, the fort grew into a town, and the town grew into a small city. While Tenebria officially holds no claim over Arda, no outside nation has yet claimed dominion over the continent, New Sechester is, for all intents and purposes, a Tenebrian colony. In the spring of 972, 4 young people from different lands encountered one another in New Sechester. Though their alliance was first formed out of necessity, curiosity, and coin, they have now come to trust and rely upon one another as they explore a strange new world. Fletcher, a human wizard trained at Iskall University in the Duin College of Arcane Arts, serves as the group's voice of reason. The consummate academic, Fletcher takes copious notes about everything they encounter in Arda, as he hopes to publish on his discoveries and make a name for himself. Cedric, a dwarven cleric, came to Arda to share the word of Moradin with any who would listen, and even with many who won't. Cedric's bright-eyed optimism is only ever momentarily balked when he encounters injustices, and though he commonly puts his foot in his mouth, he has established himself as a valuable member of the team nonetheless. Lucanus, an elven barbarian, secured passage to Arda in order to escape degradation and slaughter in his homeland. Born before the loss, Lucanus has come of age in a world filled with turmoil, and his dark humor and penchant for combat reflect his experiences, yet he also has an open and caring side. Kay has grown up in New Sechester, raised by her adoptive parents. A roguish young woman, Kay's knowledge of the townsfolk and local geography have already helped the group navigate their first few days in a new land. But violence and adventure are new to Kay, and she's still learning how to take care of herself in the dangerous wilds of Arda. Fletcher, Cedric, and Frank? Yesterday, Lucanus spent most of the day hiding in the marked bird because the group thought it might be too dangerous for him to wander around in town, and then Cedric and Fletcher found a poster that confirmed your worries. It sounds like Wergent Johns is looking for Carissa. However, you had other business to attend to, and the humor soon got heady as you tried to figure out who to tell about the orc you encountered in the grasslands.
I'm sorry, I just noticed that pun.
Yes.
Sorry.
Mission accomplished.
Go on, don't mind me.
The Greens weren't home, so then you took a trip to the naval fort and made an appointment to speak to Captain Dawson-Clark on the 7th. While eating dinner, you spoke with Casper Reed and told him basically everything about your adventures with the Abixians in the grasslands. He was absolutely fascinated by your story and even made a sketch of the knot design inscribed on the armbands Ishbel gave you. After that, you all went to sleep. Now, it is the morning of Cordem, the 6th day of Bloom Run in the year 972. And you know, as you were told yesterday, that today is a holiday. Happy New Sechester Day. Well.
Well. Can you give us a quick rundown on what we know about New Sechester Day? I feel like there were parades. Was there a parade?
I believe that Summer might have mentioned the parade to you.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Because she's the one who first mentioned New Sechester Day as a holiday. And you were like, what? And then, yeah, she said that it was basically a festival day celebrating the founding of the town, or the founding of the fort that then turned into a town. And she did say something about a parade.
All right. Cedric wakes up, does his morning prayers, puts his now dry but like not but stiff and still dirty shirt, or clean dirty, clean but still stained shirt on, and is gonna go downstairs, have breakfast with Leon in the common room of the Marked Bird.
Lucanus is already downstairs. He has breakfast and a beer because why not?
Breakfast and a beer, breakfast of champions.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a holiday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm already down there also, having breakfast without a beer.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if Lucanus is gonna have a beer, I'm gonna have a beer. Can I get one of those, Leon?
Absolutely. It's never good to have a friend drink alone.
Yes, those were my thoughts. So, Leon, what are you gonna do for the New Sechester Day?
Yes, well, I can't imagine that many people will be into the tavern today because there will be so many things going on in the streets. So I think I might, well, I might watch some of the festivities, and I might also go to the park and read a book, or just sort of, soak up the sun. It seems like a very nice day for a holiday, so.
Leon celebrates holidays like I do. I'm gonna not hang out with anybody and read a book.
I mean, he's basically always working because he owns and runs this place. You haven't really seen anybody else in here, right? So this is his time to be by himself, yeah.
It's true.
Cool. Well, Leon, I feel like I can speak for all of us when I say we won't need you to cook us dinner. We'll find something out about on the street, so feel free to take the day. And I mean, unless you have other patrons or something like that, but you needn't worry about us.
Well, that is good to know. Although I guess I wonder if maybe you need more worrying than most. But if you all think that you will be fine today, then I will not expect you in.
Lucanus raises his glass to the more worrying than most comment, but otherwise says nothing.
So, are you guys excited about the festivities? I'm really kind of excited to, I don't know, see how the New Sechesterians celebrate.
We'll see. I find that kind of thing sort of frivolous.
Oh. Well, I've never been to a parade before, so, I mean, I hear they're pretty cool.
When you've seen one, you've seen them all.
Oh.
Lucanus orders another beer.
Well, I look forward to having seen all of them then.
And try not to forget, I know today's all these festivities and things, but tomorrow it's straight back to dealing with a lot of problems. We have our appointment tomorrow with the captain. So don't let these things get too to your head.
Yeah, alright, fair enough. But it is kind of freeing, right? Of like, we don't have any responsibilities until tomorrow. There's nothing we can do to solve any of our problems today. So we might as well enjoy it, right? I mean, I mean, well,
I guess.
at
I
least.
get for once you're making sense.
I mean, I know you're joking. I always make sense. But I mean, well, okay. Now I'm forgetting Frank. You also have problems. I was kind of thinking about the potential orc invasion, but are
Yeah,
you?
you're talking about going out and enjoying all these things, but how are we going to get Frank out to enjoy all these things?
Hmm.
Well, I mean, you do have a bag. And even an extra face.
Ew.
Ew.
I
um,
don't know. I feel like people would notice if uh, I went out wearing an orc death mask.
ooh.
I mean, it worked for Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
Leon.
Well, I
Leon.
mean,
Yes?
Is this the kind of holiday where people wear masks?
Uh, not as far as I know.
Oh,
This is
dang
not
it.
a costume party. No. This is more uh, celebrating the Tenebrian naval heroes who built the fort and just sort of celebrating the existence of the town. Um, yes, so this is more about just sort of food and fun than it is about costumes or like there's no sort of this is not a religious holiday or um, does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it makes sense to me that you could have holidays that weren't religious. Those are just the only kinds that we had back home. But it seems like a good reason. Uh, well, what do you recommend we go see?
Phil, everything in the entertainment district will be open, and all of the food shops, so the restaurants and the bakery and things like that, they usually have food and things. Around midday, there's usually a military parade. Um, but yes, it's just sort of a more of a free for all. It's not a structured holiday.
Okay. Hmm.
No, Cedric, if you would have waited to order your shirts, maybe they would have been a sale today.
Wait. Like, people would sell things on a holiday?
They may. It sounds like people sort of spend the day out and about. Why wouldn't you try to
Leon, can I
make
get
some
another beer?
coin?
Yeah, I didn't think about that. I mean, back home, like I said, all the holidays are religious. So people work on the holidays, obviously, but only in the smithies. And so, you can't buy anything because everybody's working. But, no sales, no commerce, just crafting. Uh, didn't think about what non-Moradin followers do.
All
That
us
doesn't
heathen.
sound like a very fun holiday.
No, it's lots of fun. I mean, there's only so much work to be done around a forge. So it's hot and you get all dirty and you sweat a lot. You know, get some new blisters. Lots of fun. Uh,
Well, so what should we do about Frank? Frank, do you have any ideas? I don't. This is a day of celebration.
I'm fine
It
just
would
sitting
feel a
in here
little
drinking.
sad if you sat inside again today, but it also means there's going to be a lot of people around. So I don't know if that makes it easier or harder for somebody to recognize you. Maybe we can blend into the crowds. We could mask you, perhaps.
I feel
Eh,
like I feel like we should still have a long-term plan for how we're gonna deal with this whole you being framed for kidnapping thing. Like, Short term, all right, we could get by in the crowds today. Sure, that sounds like a good plan. I like that. Do you guys have any ideas about how we could deal with this, though? I mean, we can talk to the military about it tomorrow, but it seems a little bit...
Is there...
I could
Is there
just
a-
go camping in the woods.
But eventually we'll have to deal with this guy.
Is there a way we can get back in contact with Carissa? If they think she's missing and that's his whole claim, do we have any way to get her attention again and have her reappear and perhaps talk to somebody in the town guard to say she's not kidnapped, she's not missing?
You think we could get the mermaids to kick Morgan's ass? Because that might be fun.
If we can get him in the water.
I mean,
his brothel is next to the dock, so we just push him in, right? It's like,
we
And
have
it was
we
very
have,
shoddily
we have
built,
bait.
so we could push the whole building in the water.
or we could get a saw and cut underneath him, you know, like in an old school Bugs Bunny cartoon.
It sounds like a Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
No.
I don't feel like there's a stealth roll high enough for that.
Cheryl,
to
I feel like
happen.
you're not yes-anding me here.
Hey, I didn't say you couldn't. Although, I don't know if you noticed this or if you ever asked, but it's not like the brothel is on like wood and there's just like water underneath the brothel. It is on like there is soil underneath the brothel.
That just means we need to build a big tunnel.
Sure, yeah.
We have to get behind the brothel and push it from here till it's over there.
Are mermaids good at digging? Do they have fossorial orlins? Are there mermaids that are specially adapted to different
underground underwater people? The mole mermaids, yeah.
Do the mermaids have an alliance with the mole people
Mermaids,
that I'm
yeah.
just assuming exist?
I mean, there are a lot of fish species that are very good at digging. Can we talk about maybe they build giant nests, you know, that would go underneath the.
Well,
I
we
love-
already
I love
know.
mole maids. That's
We
a
already
good one.
know that. We already know about my theory that mermaids are just fish that practice aggressive mimicry.
No, I like that. I like that theory a lot. Yeah. Okay. Question: the bounty or the wanted poster that we found, was it an official? Like, did it look like an official like New Sechester Guard bounty, or was it just like I had this printed at the print shop and I put it up myself kind of thing?
Have you seen any official New Sechester Guard bills hung around town?
I don't know. Have I? Probably not.
Well, if you is that something you're like you still have it? So are you
Yeah,
trying
I
to
have
like
it.
Ooh.
yeah, are you trying to like examine it and decide?
Yeah, let's take a look at it.
Okay.
Does it say like if found contact New Sechester Town Guard, or does it say if found contact Wirgin?
Let's see.
Because if there's something I know about missing people reports on social media, it's that if it doesn't say to contact the police, then it's bullshit.
It doesn't say to contact the police. It's an abusive husband.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Or a pimp who's had his mermaid escape.
Yeah, that happens surprisingly often.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen like 3 Facebook posts on that.
All right. I will have Cedric do this since you're the one who headed the question.
Okay.
You can choose either gather information, sense motive, or straight intelligence. And the one you choose will determine what kind of information you get. So you can choose either gather information or sense motive or straight intelligence check.
Oh, okay. That's a 13.
A 13 what?
Sense motive.
Okay, a 13 sense motive. So it seems like from the way it's written that he probably at least wrote the narrative himself. You're not necessarily very familiar with like how bills are printed, so you can't really tell whether or not like who printed it or how it was printed or whatever or written. There isn't like a logo or anything to there's no like small print at the bottom that indicates that it's associated with the New Sechester Guard or anything like that. You can definitely like, I mean, you only had a short interaction with the man, but like you can tell like Wergen's hand is all over this in terms of like the phrasing and the word choice. Like it's slimy, right? Like because you know the truth, it seems slimy. But yeah, like it's not like you immediately see anything that makes it official, but.
So I don't think that this was printed by the guard. So I don't think that showing Carissa to the guard would get us out of anything. I think this is Wergen trying to sick the local populace on us. It seems like the kind of sleazy thing that he would do.
Lucanus just sort of shrugs and, I mean, what do the guards know about what he does?
I mean, they didn't seem particularly interested in helping me when I told them that he was mermaid trafficking.
Well, they were of the mind that it's an allowed business here, so they weren't going to interfere. I'd be like, we ask them to go arrest the person who's making your shirts for making shirts.
Well, but
but he's not making shirts.
Well, no, it's not that he's making shirts. It's making shirts against their will. The shirts consented to be made into my shirts, and Carissa did not.
And then the metaphor fell apart.
Yeah.
And wait, and so the bill, who does it say to contact with information, or like if you have information, if you see this person, who does it say to talk to?
It says to go to the Hidden Grove.
What?
Do we know the Hidden Grove?
Is that the name of his establishment? We never even learned the name of that place.
Hey, Leon!
Yes?
Do you know a place in New Sechester called the Hidden Grove?
Let's see.
Oh, Leon doesn't
That
know
was
about...
That was on my coaster. Leon does not know about the Hidden Grove. That was an 8.
Aw, Leon, such a upstanding citizen.
Well, if you remember correctly, there's also more than one brothel in this town. So
I need to run and grab my cell phone charger. Sorry. I'll be right back.
All right, fine. A discerning client then.
We may have to ask around a little bit more if Kay doesn't show up today either.
Yeah, I feel like we should go. I don't know. Her mom really didn't look excited to see us, so I'm hesitant to go back and try and ask again there for her. Leon, you still haven't seen Kay, right?
No, I have not seen her
Hope she's okay.
yesterday or today.
Well, there'll be a lot of people out and about today. No reason we can't. A lot of people going a lot of places. I imagine asking where a certain thing is, it will be happening a lot today.
True. Well, you want to go outside and see what's going on? Go wander around?
Yeah, I'm about wrapped up. I eat the last few bites of breakfast. Go to the bathroom real quick. I'm pulling a Travis McElroy. No one ever says they're going to the bathroom. So when do they go to the bathroom?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm saying I'm going to the bathroom.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I hate that. Like, the only time the only bathrooms that you know the location of in Hogwarts are ones that are like specific to plot points.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, the one bathroom that nobody uses because there's a ghost haunting it, and so they use it because it's the connection to a secret lair.
Yeah. Yeah.
I appreciate it. I think it was Star Trek Voyager.
Oh, and the prefect bathroom.
I think it was the third Star Trek series where they finally mentioned that like showers exist. Just like,
There's also the bathroom that Hermione is trapped in with the troll.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So I think you know the location of 3 bathrooms in Hogwarts. 2 are girls' bathrooms. 1 is the male prefect's bathroom.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Where are the bathrooms in the Mark Bird? How many bathrooms are there?
Have you heard of chamber pots?
Oh, okay. So there's chamber pots. There's not one in the dining room, I hope.
Well, no.
No, it's in your room.
Do you just chuck it out the window, or is there like a...
That's what Leon does.
Does Leon just chuck it out the window?
Well, I mean, there's like... So... It's not like a plumbed modern city. It's a very new city.
Yeah.
It's a city that sort of grew haphazardly, patchworky, organically, right? So there's not a lot of infrastructure. A lot of these streets are not even especially straight, because it's just sort of, you know, where people built things. There was no city planning.
I mean, honestly, any room can be a chamber pot if you really want it to be.
Right. So there's not plumbing or like an official sewer. But here in sort of like the market district, and also like when you went to the Greens home and you were in sort of the upper class district, there are like there are ditches that sort of have like a cover over them. So basically, like people can they can take their waste out and sort of toss it in this ditch, and it runs presumably to the ocean where the waste can be dissipated into the water. In the slummy area, there weren't really like established ditches, so there was a lot of just like waste kind of everywhere. There's a whole D&D like expansion pack book about city planning, and there's like a whole chapter on like rich versus poor areas in cities and what kind of plumbing or waste disposal they have. So I was ready for that question.
That just sounds like they were really trying to keep capitalizing and making money.
Yeah.
Also that. Thank you for publishing so many books, Wizards of the Coast. You made my life incredibly easy.
I forget why we started talking about this.
Because we're.
Oh, right.
because I said we were heading out and I went to the bathroom.
Gotcha.
Right.
All right.
Bathroom done.
Joe, is Frank good to go to the? You good to head out? You want to come out? Head out with us? Do you need to?
You
get
have
the
your
bathroom?
hood.
Who's Joe? I thought he was Frank.
Yeah, Frank, you have your hood.
All right.
Wouldn't the hood be recognizable though? Well,
Yeah.
that's just sort of what I wear.
lots of
That's
people
my
have hoods?
brand.
It probably looks sketchy today because it's such a lovely day out.
Your brand. Lucanus is an influencer.
Yeah. The poster doesn't say you're an elf, so maybe you should keep your hood off, because obviously you'd have to be an idiot not to write elf on the that's your most identifying characteristic, is that you're you're freakishly, pointy eared. From Cedric's perspective. So this Lucanus guy sounds like a big human.
Yeah. So
We can probably
Lucanus
get away
wasn't
with it.
really wearing his robes anyways, but he's got his armor on, he's got his weapons on, and he follows Cedric and Fletcher out into the street.
Marvelous. And when you step out into the street, it's like 60-ish degrees Fahrenheit, breezy, clear, gorgeous spring day. And you can see the marketplace is filled with people wearing their best clothes. Flowers, bunting, and streamers decorate every cart and building. There are a few street entertainers, musicians, jugglers, street magicians. as well as a small wooden puppet theater where there are some children gathered. The air is filled with the smells of roasting meat, baking bread, and liquor.
Cedric runs over to the puppet theater and sits down.
Immediately forgets what we're doing.
Yep. You're going to watch the puppet show?
Yes.
Okay, so you can see they sort of have just started, and there's a few puppets. This is it's small because it's not like a theater, but there are obviously several people behind here playing all of the characters. And so you can see several puppets that are made to look like sailors, and they seem to be running about on the deck of a ship, and yelling something about a giant shark.
Cedric is just like completely enraptured.
And if you want to know why we're laughing so hard, you should go watch From the Annals of History, where they ran about on the deck of a ship and yelled about a giant shark, and only one person died.
Yeah.
And it was an NPC.
Spoilers.
Yeah, so it's a pretty good puppet show.
Are you able to figure out who this Peter guy really is?
No.
I keep having trouble. Following who's playing Peter.
Yeah, I can't.
Rude.
It's because you keep talking. Why? Just shh. Lucanus talks during movies. I can tell. He's the worst.
He's the guy who cheers on the main character, like makes catty remarks.
So yeah, it's a pretty good puppet show.
Yeah, he's just a little drunk right now, so it's that side of him's gonna come out.
Nice.
Oh, good.
Right.
Drunk in the morning. This is gonna be a great day. Fletcher's just.
Yeah. How does Fletcher react to this?
We just step out and you just leave.
Yeah. I imagine Fletcher's doing whatever the D&D equivalent of like standing there playing with your phone is.
Well, it's also funny because, like, Cedric, you're kind of the same size, like, well, you're at least the same height as many of the children at the puppet theater, but I imagine that you might have elbowed your way to the front so that you could see.
Yes.
So now there's, like, you in your armor, and you're kind of stouter than most of the children, so you're kind of taking up the space of, maybe two kids, and you've got your weapons and whatever, but you're just enraptured.
The handle of my Warhammer is sticking up and blocking, like, three kids, like... He's like leaning forward like this, sitting cross-legged. He's just a very large child. So
kind of walk over.
Lucanus gets bored with the puppet show and starts like looking for food tents around. Are there food tents around?
Yeah. Sorry, Fletcher. What were you gonna say too?
I was gonna say I'd like. Kind of walk over boredly, standing there on the outskirts, seeing Cedric do this, like by like other parents there at the kids, and I'm like, which one's yours? Like, yeah, in the middle there, it's mine.
We do that in the park too.
He's a special handful.
Oh, adorable. Yeah, so there are some food stands around. There's all kinds of food. Were you looking for something specific?
No, I was just curious as to what they were serving.
Yeah.
A little bit drunk and a little bit hungry.
We just ate breakfast.
Hey, when you drink, it makes you hungry.
Is there like a ye old magical Taco Bell?
Got a turkey leg.
Magical
Best part
Taco
of
Bell.
Fair.
Turkey legs.
Ren Fair turkey leg.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so as I scroll through the vendors, so you can see there's a sort of a tent out in front of the bakery on the street. The bakery is Do Re Mi, and you can see, yes.
I love that.
So you can see the baker has some things out in a tent. Who else has stuff? There's a tent out in front of the shop next to Elsa's apothecary. that has like a table, and it looks like there are maybe books and scrolls on there. Who else? Yeah, if you wander around a bit more, you might see some other things, but that's what you can see basically from like where you're standing right now.
Hmm.
Well, I definitely need me some of that bread.
Bah. Is that where you're going?
Oh no, I'm still keeping track of Cedric.
Did he just make a bun that I totally missed?
Oh my god. Oh my god. All right.
Okay, Katie. All right. So I assume the puppet show ends, right? As soon as the puppet show ends,
It
Cedric
never
is gonna,
ends.
it's gonna like look around.
I mean, yeah, it's a pretty long puppet show, but yeah.
Okay, yeah. As soon as it ends, he's gonna like look around for Fletcher and Lucanus, and sees
Sounds like
Fletcher like standing beside the rest of the parents, and he's gonna run over there.
sounds
I
like
have like
Fletcher
I have my
having
journal
like
open.
Oreos
I'm just like
boredom.
doodling in margins.
Oh, hey, Fletcher, where'd Lucanus go?
I don't know, Cedric. I can only keep track of one child at a time.
Which
Lucanus
child are
is
you
just
keeping
sort
track
of
of?
walking around looking at the food things. So he's not that far from the puppet show. He's just sort of milling around.
To kind of scan around and see if we. Probably pretty easy to see him milling about.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, he's over there. Over there. Let's go over there.
And you go over to
To go
him.
over to the food stand.
Yeah.
Lucanus, what'd you get? Do you buy anything?
Nah, I'm still looking.
Smells really good.
There's also tents for some restaurants that they've sort of set up in like the kind of around the park area. So like the restaurant or restaurants that are in like the entertainment district or the upper class district, they've sort of brought over some things into the market district because that seems to be mostly where people are gathering for this event. So yes, you see a few tents for the various restaurants in the city. You also see a tent with the woman that you met very briefly, or that Kay spoke to very briefly in the entertainment district, whose shop was right across the street from the alley where you were investigating the murder.
I remember her.
Mm-hmm.
She's the one who has the freakishly pointy ears too, just like Lucanus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lucanus doesn't really show any interest in going over to the tent. He's just sort of drunkenly perusing the menus of the food tents, looking
Okay.
for something that looks good.
So are you like actively avoiding that woman, or are you going to like happen close to her tent but just not engage?
Oh, I'm actively avoiding her.
Okay. So making a wide berth around.
Yeah, but I'm making it seem fairly casual.
Okay, cool.
I'm trying to decide if I want to. Can I do an insight check to see if I notice this?
On the can. Well, okay,
Yeah.
so perception would be like noticing. Oh, yeah, I guess sense motive would tell you like whether he was being intentional about it. Sure.
Okay.
Can I
Um,
do some sort of
you have-
do some sort of deception roll?
You have to do a bluff check.
You don't even need to
Alright.
bother.
What did you roll?
I got a
Cedric?
6.
That's 6.
I got a 9.
Yeah, okay. Neither of you is doing real great, but Lucanus is doing his version of act casual, but Cedric is too distracted by all of the shiny things.
And honestly, that roll contest right there was just roll to the bottom.
So Fletcher, what do you want to do today?
Find out where the Lost Grove is.
Oh,
Hidden
right.
Grove.
Yes. Right. Hey, Lucanus. We were doing a thing, remember?
Do you think they make ranch dressing in the Hidden Grove?
Now listen.
I bet they make some other kind of dressing that Sheryl has invented that'll poison me.
Or at the very least, get on your shirt.
Yeah.
I didn't make up hammer beer. That was a thing we found on the internet. We made up the other specialty drinks, but that one we took straight from the internet.
Nothing on the internet has ever hurt me before, so.
I'm just saying it's not my fault.
Fair enough. All right.
The kind of drink you buy to get hammered.
Is there like? Okay, I imagine there's like a crowd of people around, right? All right. I want to find somebody who looks moderately sketchy. Like, like, not like he's gonna attack me for just like talking to him, but like somebody who doesn't look like they're wearing their Sunday best, right? Like I want to find a guy at the carnival in sweatpants.
Or maybe a blood-stained shirt.
Yeah,
Basically
exactly.
what you look like right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you looking for someone you already know, or are you looking for someone you don't know?
If I see someone I know, I want to go talk to them. But if I don't see somebody I know, then I want to anybody.
Okay. Give me a perception check.
That is a 12.
Okay. So as you're scanning the crowd, yeah, I mean there's a wide variety of people. So you see, again, there are lots of humans, including some who you might know. There are halflings, there's a few gnomes, there's someone who he sticks out a little bit. If you're specifically looking for shifty people, he's got dark-ish skin, but he looks kind of like Lucanus in terms of like face and body shape. And when I say like dark skin, it's kind of like this like deep, almost like purpley dark color.
Okay.
And he's got a hood on, kind of like Lucanus had been doing.
Is this a group that I would recognize?
That's a great question. Give me, gracious, what should I ask you to roll for that?
That's a very thoughtful question. Sorry.
Do you do you have knowledge history?
Has anybody seen Dangerous Lives of Alder Boys while he's looking at that?
No, I don't have knowledge history.
Okay, then give me an intelligence check.
Intelligence check. 16.
Yeah, so you probably haven't ever seen an individual like this before, but the appearance strikes you as resembling something you've heard about in stories, maybe in your childhood. This individual looks like maybe a dark elf, or what some people would call a drow.
Lucanus sort of gestures to the figure in the hood. Hey, look over there, drow. Maybe he knows something.
Ooh. Cedric is gonna go over and walk up to the drow and say, "Excuse me, sir. I'm sorry to bother you. Can I ask you a question?"
I think you just did.
Can I ask you? Yeah. Can I ask you 2 more questions then, including that one?
What would you like to know?
Do you know where I'm new in town and I'm looking for a place called the Hidden Grove? Have you heard of it?
He sort of looks you up and down, like maybe twice, real calmly, and is like, "You're looking for the Hidden Grove?"
Yes.
Well, it's in the area sort of to the east of the docks.
To the east of the docks. Is that the slums? Is that the same as the slums?
Yeah, in that area.
Huh. Okay. Is there like a sign out front?
I don't think they have a sign.
I guess that's why it's hidden, right? All right. Well, thanks. That's been really helpful. Nice to meet you. I'm Cedric, by the way. I stick my hand out. Well, it's been nice meeting you. Thanks. Bye. I like walk back over to Fletcher and Lucanus.
Smooth.
So he is not very friendly, but he did tell me it's in the slums, which I guess makes sense.
Dark elves don't like to talk a whole lot.
Oh, well, you could have told me. Why did you tell me to go talk to him then?
Because I thought it would be fun.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess it was fun. I mean, he wasn't, like, rude or anything, just not very friendly. He didn't seem like he was having any fun. So do you guys want to go
No,
to
they never do.
Do you guys want to go to the slums? I feel like maybe if we're going to go look at this place that we're supposed to go to, if we find Lucanus, maybe we shouldn't bring Lucanus? Does that sound like a good idea?
Well, if there's no sign, how are we supposed to look for it? There's a lot of things in the slums.
Oh, didn't think about that. Okay. I guess we could go to the slums and ask again. Somebody who looks more helpful. Man, I miss Kay.
I think Fletcher's gonna try something with the. Are they still near the like bread stall?
I mean, yeah, everything's sort of centrally aggregated today.
All right, well, I'm gonna, I guess, go up to one of the stalls. Well, I guess, yeah, the bread one. And so like goes up and looks at things on the table. He's like, "Oh, hello. How a good new Sechester day to you."
Good news, Sechester day to you too. And you see there is a halfling woman tending the stall or the counter. Very stout and very fair, freckles, green eyes, blonde hair. It's turning maybe slightly gray at the roots, but otherwise just a very pleasant-looking person. And there are 3 other halflings sort of moving in between the stall and the interior of their actual, like, their shop. So you see a person who looks, very much like this woman who's tending the stall, but maybe like a teenager-y halfling female, and then 2 identical halfling boys who are probably a little younger than that girl.
What is this one? It looks so good, and I point to just one of the things on the table, not really like caring what it actually is.
Yeah. Oh, that's our special hearty seed loaf. So it's got several different kinds of seeds, both from our home and also some things that we've come to love from the other continents. So it's a sort of a world bread, if you will.
Seeds. You feel like a little bird.
Sure.
I'll take a loaf of that. Why don't you wrap that up for me?
Absolutely. That will be 7 copper.
Okay. So I hand that over. And while we're doing the exchange, I say, I'm sort of new in New Sechester, and I've been trying to find out.
That laugh was so Cedric.
Find my way around, and this seems like a great day to learn things. And I heard somebody, I heard them say that the name of a place earlier called the Hidden Grove. Is that what is that place? Are they doing something special for this day?
I haven't heard of that place. I don't know. If there is something going on, that sounds like fun, but it's not a place I've heard of.
Well, thank you. I just take the bread and turn around and leave.
Sorry about that. Enjoy your day.
I come back and throw the bag of bread at Cedric into his hand.
Opens the bag.
He didn't
and
know
starts eating the
anything.
bread. Oh, okay. Well,
Roll an attack.
wait. I drop the bag of bread on the ground. And then I pick it up and I open the bag and I start eating it.
Okay.
Lucanus takes a piece kind of drunkenly and pops it in his mouth.
Yeah, you need a biscuit to sop you up, boy.
Lucanus, you notice that quite a few of the grains in this bread, or like the whole seeds that are in it and on top of it, are fairly familiar to you. It looks like a lot of these seeds or grains are things that grew on Udivan.
No, yeah, tastes like home.
And yeah, so I figure if a nice business owner like that didn't know what this place is at all, it's clearly not, a fellow reputable business in town.
I think part of the underworld.
Almost as if it's hidden.
So it's not any kind
Good
of
grief.
place they would know. So I guess we can just head over there, unless there's somewhere else here either of you want to stop.
No, I'm full. This bread is really good, though.
We got bread. I'm good. Let's go.
Yeah, let's head that way.
Okay, so you're heading back to the slums?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, come on. Oh, sorry, my internet just failed on my laptop.
Oh, no.
Okay, we're good. We're good. Okay, so you're heading back to the slums. Are you heading back just like along the docks like you did before?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So you walk past and you see there's the Lux Room, which Cedric, you've been in twice now.
Oh yeah.
Maybe or more.
We could go ask in that place.
And then next to that is the brothel that you interacted with. There's a few other like buildings that look like businesses or shops rather than homes. So I don't know what you would like to go to.
Well, they know you in there, Cedric.
Yeah, we could go back in there and ask. They're very
Might as
helpful.
well go somewhere where everybody knows your name.
Well, they don't. Wait, did I use a fake name last time?
Now I'm upset. You wanna go where everybody knows your name. I don't know if these people are glad he came, though.
Yeah, they're definitely not.
Not glad I came.
So, I don't remember whether I used a fake name when I went in there last time.
Well, you can see if they call you something when you walk in.
Oh, that's a good idea. Cedric walks into the Luxrung Tavern and just, like, opens the door and then stands there expectantly. Like, slowly looking around the room to see if there's anyone there he recognizes.
So it's still dark, smoky interior. There aren't a whole lot of people in here right now. It seems very thin compared to the other times that you went in the Lux Room. You don't immediately see anyone behind the bar.
Do any of the patrons look like people I've interacted with? Any of the, like, fisher folk?
No. The people you interacted with in here before was there was a dwarven blacksmith. You interacted with the ship's captains, and you interacted with the fishermen. None of them are in here.
Okay. Okay. Um, are Fletcher and Lucanus in here with me, or is it just me?
Nope, I sat down on the dock.
Oh, I'm with Fletcher.
No.
Dangling your feet over the water.
All right.
Yep.
In that case,
I'm
Went
still
back to writing in my book.
kind of drunkenly nibbling on the bread.
Went back to writing in my book.
He's just sort of cradling the bread, almost like a baby.
all right.
Lucanus is very attached to this bread.
The seagulls start circling.
All right.
That's what battle axes are for.
I was just gonna say roll initiative.
Hey, I have more spells now.
I know.
Bring it.
I feel like with seagulls you need to though. Like, come on.
Good eating on those.
Better than rat.
Is it any different than rat, really?
No,
I
it's not.
could probably make rat taste good.
Seagull drumsticks.
Rats are too cute to eat. I'd eat a seagull.
Oh yeah, yep.
Seagull. If we want to get into how seagull is a
Oh
thing.
well, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if Emily was here, she would have some questions about the identity of the birds that we're serving.
Yeah. What are these gulls?
Ring-billed, herring, blackbacked.
Albatross.
Mm.
They look small and then they start descending and we notice they're like brown
Right,
pelicans
like-
that are gonna beat the crap out of us.
Oh, God.
Large enough for
Pelicans
to eat
are-
Cedric.
Pelicans are mean.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyways, seagulls aren't a thing. Look it up.
That's only if you want to be one of those pedantic, like, pain in the butt scientists who's like, well, actually.
Yeah. Only bugs in the order Hemiptera can be called bugs. Everything else
Anything
is
on
an
Neil deGrasse
insect.
Tyson's Twitter feed.
That.
Yeah.
Please don't squish us, we're so tiny. Anyway.
Pedantry is not the path to education.
Absolutely not. Only to alienating people. Cedric, what were you looking for?
I was just gonna ask, like, how many are there? What are the other patrons of the bar? What do they look like?
Start shouting drunkenly.
Yeah, right. There's
Knowing
like.
me, I would fail my role to perform drunkenness.
Mhm. There's like two kind of grizzled-ish human males, not sitting together, but sitting at different points along the bar, just sort of drinking, hanging out.
All right. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna like hop up on one of the bar stools, which I imagine takes a little bit of a climb.
Of course you are.
And
Yeah,
I
not
imagine you
hop.
doing the thing where you land on the seat on your stomach and then your legs are like scrabbling a little bit to try to like get you up on it.
yeah, it's not delicate.
We need to get this boy some skills into climbing.
Or jump. Your jump score needs to be higher.
Yep, I'm not proficient in either of those. So, yeah, I do that, and then I sit at the bar, and I look over the bar.
Okay. And when you look over the bar, you see kind of a young-looking halfling with an absolutely fastidious personal appearance. He's got medium brown skin and tightly curled black hair that seems to be freshly washed and maybe even perfumed slightly. He's got it worn sort of medium length to show off the curls, but he's clean-shaven otherwise. He's got sort of slightly effeminate-looking eyes and lips, and he looks up as you sort of situate yourself on the stool, I guess, and give me a perception check.
That's 13.
So you kind of recognize this guy a little bit.
Like he looks familiar?
Yeah. Yeah, you feel like you've seen him maybe once before,
I say.
but not here.
I say, hello!
Well, hello. Do you need a drink?
Yes!
All right. What can I get you?
Just a regular beer.
Regular beer. Coming
Yes.
right up.
Cool. Thanks. I'm Cedric.
Oh, nice to meet you, Cedric. I'm Magnus.
Magnus. It's a good name. My
Thank
great
you.
great grandfather on my mother's side was named Magnus.
Where do we know Magnus
Um, you don't have any dwarven relatives, do you?
No, as far as I know, everyone in my family is a halfling.
Oh, okay. So, you from around here, Magnus?
I've been around.
Cool. So, I'm looking for somebody, and I hear they're a pretty disreputable fellow, and they might hang out at a place called the Hidden Grove. Have you ever heard of it?
Sounds like you don't like it.
Well, no, I'm being secretive.
Well,
from? I'm being secretive.
but you said disreputable.
Well,
You not
the
like this
fellow,
person or this place?
the fellow is a bit disreputable.
Oh, a customer?
Maybe? Yes.
I mean, they get all kinds in there, you know. That's one of those businesses everybody seems to need, but yeah, I mean, it's right next door.
Oh, which side? The left side or the right side?
He
Up,
he
up the
he
top.
points to the side where like if you went out that way you would be back at the brothel.
Okay, that's very helpful. Thank you so much. Uh, I am gonna drink this beer. How much did it cost me?
How much did it cost you? Um, I think it was like a silver.
I am
Yeah.
gonna pay him 2 silvers.
Thank you.
Uh, I'm gonna drink the entire mug and then leave. And then I'm gonna say, "Bye, Magnus," as I leave. It was really nice to meet you.
Bye. And you can see, like, as he's been, like, you know, just hanging out behind the bar, 'cause, you know, nobody else came in and ordered anything while you were drinking. He had a cat that sort of walked out from somewhere and was sort of, you know, doing the figure eight thing between his legs.
Oh,
Like a medium-sized tabby cat was back there with him.
oh.
But other than that, yeah, you drink your beer and you leave.
All right, I'm go outside. And I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna walk up to Fletcher and Lucanus, who I assume are both still sitting on the dock with their legs dangling over the side. Um, hey, guys.
Mhm.
So I figured out that the Hidden Grove is the brothel. It's Wirgin's place. It's the place like right there, right there that Wirgin lives in. So, or works in.
So this manhunt for Frank is not above board. This has nothing to do with the town guard.
Yeah.
Wouldn't the town guard want the information, not straight to the brothel owner?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I think this is. I mean, obviously, Chris is not his daughter, because he doesn't look like a. I mean, doesn't look like a merfolk, because he looks like he's never had a bath in his
He'd
life.
be a very bad stepdad.
Yeah. So, I think we can safely assume that the town guard's not after us, but we're still gonna have to deal with Wirgin at some point.
Yeah. But we'll be able to just deal with him.
I mean,
You know, there's not the whole town guard to deal with
yeah,
or watch out for
that's
or
true. But potentially he has friends. Didn't Lucanus, didn't you learn about some compatriots of his? Some rough and tumble folks that he travels with?
Uh, Lucanus is going to flip through his memories.
That's what they're for.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I mean,
I
he
feel
had a
like there
dwarf.
was- I feel like there was somebody with like a real intimidating nickname, like the Spider or the Knife or something like that.
Well, there's
Oh, the like
There's,
barb.
Brelda, who is a dwarf. I didn't see a hammer.
All right. Well,
And that's pretty much it that I saw. Or no, Bethelda.
Bethelda. The worst kind of dwarf. Well,
What kind of ugh. What do you mean the worst kind of dwarf?
oh, I mean somebody that would work with somebody like Wergen.
Mm.
All right. Well, I think we probably shouldn't hang out here.
Probably. And we clearly would need a plan before we do anything more.
Yeah. All right. Well, since we don't have a plan, let's leave. Go back to the parade? What time is the parade? Does anybody figure out what time the parade is?
Do you remember what Leon told you?
No. I just that there was a parade.
He said around midday.
Oh. What time is it?
I mean, it's sort of moving in that direction.
As time does.
Yeah.
I'd be concerned if it was moving away from midday.
Well, post midday.
Yeah, post midday time would be moving away from
Aren't
midday.
we always moving towards and away from midday?
Ooh.
This is the kind of dumb shit that Cedric says as we walk back into the town.
He strokes his beard thoughtfully. um, so yeah, I mean, as you make it back into the, I'm assuming you're going back to the Market District area.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like as you make it back to the Market District area, you can see the crowd is shifting and starting to line the quote-unquote streets. Some agile young men perch on rooftops, and all eyes turn to the street. I'm assuming, are you going to try to find a space in the crowd, or are you ignoring this and going somewhere else?
Cedric wants to see the parade, so yeah, he's gonna try and find a place like in the front where he can see.
Yeah, we might as well stay. I doubt we can really move around and do anything more while this is happening.
Okay. Yeah, so you sort of squeeze in amongst all the people and find a place to watch. And so from the western part of town, where the naval port is, and you guys know that because you were just there yesterday, you hear a rumbling at first, and then after a little while you see a cloud of dust, out of which eventually appears a column of soldiers headed by a figure in full armor riding atop a beautiful brown horse. The figure has a long sword in an elaborate scabbard hung at their side. And yeah, so there's a little bit of a military parade with this figure on the horse sort of leading the column. And they march past, and of course they've got, banners, and it's very, sort of ceremonial armor and weapons, right? And definitely putting on a show, and the crowd cheers, and, there are children waving tiny flags and that sort of thing. But it's not a huge military parade. And then they sort of loop through the town and go back in the direction of the fort.
Cedric cheers the whole time. He's super excited. He's found one of the little he has one of the little flags too. He's waving it really emphatically over his head.
Lucanus has sort of drunkenly eaten about half the loaf by now.
Nice. And as the parade is sort of ending, Cedric, you hear kind of at your elbow a familiar voice. Seems like you really enjoyed that, huh?
Sid turns around. He's yeah. Turns around.
So you see the gnome that you met in the second apothecary, and also the man made out of water is with him, and they're both sort of smiling at the three of you. Although the man made out of water has that mischievous grin on his face.
Yeah, that was great. I've never been to a parade before. It was my first time.
Really? A plucky man like you has never been to a parade before? Why, that's amazing. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I felt like I was a part of the action.
Can you give me a perception check?
I can.
In fact, are the two of you paying attention to this exchange?
Yeah,
I mean, I went up with Cedric, kind of like, well,
I got a 20.
Woo.
Since he ran ahead again.
Okay. Yeah, Cedric, what did you get on your perception?
I got an 8.
An 8.
That's with a +6.
Oh my god.
I've rolled
Fletcher?
so bad. I haven't rolled above a 10 all night.
Oh.
Well, it's not as bad as I did. I got a 4.
So Cedric, you're just enjoying the conversation with
Oh no, everybody's lagging.
your acquaintances. Fletcher is just watching to make sure he does anything stupid. Lucas, you noticed the gnome when he said
Plucky. Did you say plucky?
yes. When he said the word plucky, he
Peter
winked.
just...
Okay, yeah, I just had... Sorry, everybody was lagging there for a second.
Yeah.
Hold on.
The little signal things indicate, or showing Peter is really low to me.
No.
Yeah. He's got one bar.
Yeah.
Veronica said she's back to normal. Oh no, we need to check your upload speed.
Yeah.
For once, I'm not having the problems.
Don't say that.
Yeah, oh my god.
We still got a ways to go.
I mean, to be fair, Peter got stuck in a really awesome pose.
Did I?
His hand over his heart, looking just super inspirational.
Oh, that's just me all the time. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. It's
Okay.
a little better now.
All right. It seems good now.
Yep.
A little better. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool.
So
Probably my fault. So what did
No worries.
what did plucky gnome boy say?
Ooh.
I didn't hear what he said.
What Lucanus noticed.
Oh well, you don't
yeah.
you don't know what Lucas.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
Well,
it's better.
repeat
It's better
what the
that
gnome
way.
said for Peter.
Damn, I see. You squashed my bandwidth just to limit my player knowledge. I appreciate your
No.
commitment to the game, Sheryl.
Yeah. If we get to that point, I'll tell you guys to take your headphones off. But...
So, what are you doing here, Pops?
Oh, well, we never miss a chance to get out and, interact with the city. I've been here for quite a while and love seeing all the folks having a good time, so here we are, enjoying the beautiful day and the festivities.
Hopefully it's okay to do this here. I'm glad I ran into you. I actually found a couple more weird things I thought you might be able to help identify.
Weird things, you say? Where are they potions?
I'm not sure. I dig out the 2 vials of the weird, like gray silvery liquid that I had. And I have no idea what they are. And show them to him.
Okay. So he takes them for a moment, and so you'd like me to figure out what this is for you?
Yeah, I mean, if you're able or if you have time.
Sure. Yeah, so it doesn't take him very long. He sort of sloshes them back and forth. He uncorks one and takes like a very tiny little bit on his finger and tastes it and sort of spits it out on the ground. Oh, yeah, what you got here is 2 vials of universal solvent. So basically, you can pour this on sticky stuff, anything sticky, even the stickiest stuff you could possibly imagine. If you pour this on it, it'll dissolve it, and it'll be gone. No worries, no sticky stuff.
That's very interesting. Thank you so much. I don't know if I would ever figure that out. I just don't have the equipment here.
Well, after you've been working with solvents and potions and all sorts of arcane liquids as long as I have, you pretty much have seen it all. But yeah, so you didn't make those yourself or buy them somewhere, huh?
No, came across them outside.
Oh, outside. You mean out there?
Yeah, like out there.
Oh, well, that's interesting. I wonder, why would there be universal solvent just like out there? Interesting. Well, yeah, that's what you got.
Great. I stash them back in my bag.
I feel like we could talk about universal solvents and tasting chemicals to identify them.
Well, why don't we put a pin in it then? This seems like a great place to take a 5-minute break, and then when we come back, we can talk about chemistry stuff.
All right.
Sound like a plan?
Sounds good.
Cool.
Okay. Yep. So thank you to War Yoshi and Veronica and anyone else who has been watching us and hanging out in the chat and whatever. We're glad you're here. We're going to take like a 5-minute break, and then when we come back, we'll talk about sciencey stuff, and then we'll see what else the boys are going to do with their day. Okay? All right. See you guys. Live. Here we are. Hello, everyone. We're back, I think. I hope. We're back. It's great to see you again. We have snacks and drinks and whatever. Hope you got a chance to take a little bio break too. And the cast would like to talk about universal solvents and tasting chemicals and things, apparently. So, yeah, who wants to start that? Oh wait, I need to do the thing. Okay, now you can start that. Okay.
Well, directly tasting and sticking your nose in or anything like that is generally a no-no in any kind of lab, unless perhaps you are a soil scientist or a geologist, or they do taste and lick things sometimes to figure stuff out. But for the most part, probably shouldn't eat things to figure out what they are.
Well, I mean, in my lab, because I study a food organism, I study sugar beets. You know, we could hypothetically eat our study organism. Not that it's recommended. I mean, if you want to know what a sugar beet tastes like, just, dip a beet in sugar and that's what it tastes like. So yeah, I mean, if you're working in an agriculture lab, hypothetically you could eat, whatever.
I mean, that depends on the agriculture
Yeah, I'm not
lab
talking
you're
about
working
food.
in. Like, if you were looking at a lab that uses pesticides, you definitely don't want to be doing that.
Oh yeah, no.
Didn't we literally last session have a conversation about like the most horrifying things we found in labs?
Yeah. No. Well, so yeah, you're right. We do a lot of herbicide testing in my lab. I was just thinking about my experiments that do
Joe,
not use herbicide.
You're not
in
an
any way,
herb.
shape, or
What?
form
You don't need to
whatsoever.
worry about that.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm just saying that like I work with things that are edible, so hypothetically,
Have y'all seen that? I think it was originally like a Reddit post or something where somebody said, "Don't lick the science," and then they had like all this list of all of the different like natural or quote unquote hard science disciplines, and like, oh, don't lick the science, or like in biology or wildlife science they say the science licks you. Um,
Yeah.
I feel like that.
I mean, agriculture in terms of whether or not you can lick the science is kind of weird. Because sometimes it's food, and then sometimes you might die.
So, as far as like tasting liquids go, though, I mean, taste was for a very long time one of the chemist's primary tools for identifying, liquids. So, like the taking a mystery flask and tasting a sip out of it and then spitting it out, like 100 and no, I'm just gonna say 100 years ago would not have been outside the realm of, standard practice, and it used to be part of, I believe, part of the diagnosis for diabetes.
Diabetes.
Right?
Yep.
We
Yep.
taste patient urine
Mm-hmm.
to determine if they had sweet
Yeah.
sweet tasting urine.
This week's episode of the Ologies podcast with Ali Ward was about diabetes, and the guest on that episode talked all about that. Yeah, so
And
yeah.
Sawbones has a fantastic episode on diabetes, and it used to be that, like, if your urine tasted sweet, people pretty much knew that you were going to die.
Yeah, because there used to be no treatment for diabetes.
So, but yeah, and then we just sort of figured out, the whole concept of carcinogenicity. So,
And then solvents, right? Solvents are, for anybody who's listening and doesn't know, stuff that dissolves other stuff.
yeah.
Um,
But I would argue that there's no such thing as a truly universal solvent.
well, and I'm no
Because
chemist, but the basic breakdown of stuff is that it dissolves in most stuff in general dissolves in either a polar solvent or a non-polar solvent. Um,
and
and
some solvents can dissolve both. I mean, soaps, for example. But ultimately, there's got to be something that you can contain that solvent in. Like, the corked bottle that we're carrying that stuff around in. That solvent isn't dissolving.
Oh, I see what you're saying. There's not
Yeah.
a single solvent that dissolves everything. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well, not
So
everything
every
dissolves.
solvent is going to dissolve a set of substances. Like, so alcohol, for example, which can dissolve both. So polar are molecules that are, like water. They sort of have electrons that they're able to expose to the environment, whereas nonpolar, they don't have those kind of partially charged electrons, and those are things like waxes and oil and stuff like that. And even things that can dissolve, both kinds of substances, either the water-like or the fat-like substances. There are things that they won't be able to dissolve.
My favorite example, the one I use when I'm teaching pesticide safety, is like you have a polar solvent and a non-polar solvent together in a balsamic vinaigrette, right? Or in a vinaigrette, right? Where you've got an oil that has certain flavors dissolved in it, and then you've got a vinegar, which is a non-polar solvent, and then you've got a vinegar, which is a polar solvent, and it also has other flavors dissolved in it.
Yeah.
So you want both of them because they're both contributing flavors to your meal, but they're not mixing together. And
Ooh, so then we have to talk about emulsification. Woo!
Right, a lot of pesticides are formulated as emulsions. So very few foods. I think the one that I always use it as an example is mayonnaise, right? Where you've got little droplets of oil that are essentially floating in a mixture of vinegar. It's just same basic ingredients as a vinaigrette, oil and vinegar, but the droplets are so small that they can't stick back together.
Well, and the other thing about it is that, like, there's normally some sort of emulsifying agent in like a salad dressing or something like that. So it's something that has like one polar end and one nonpolar end, so it will bond to both the polar and nonpolar solvents and allow them to stick together better. So like that's why a lot of salad dressings would have like mayonnaise or mustard or something put in, and then you whisk it real fast to break up the oil, but also make everything stick together nicely.
And you get the same thing in like whipped cream. So you just sort of whip it real fast, and then all the fats and stuff like that form.
Do you whip it good? High five, Peter.
But you know, when talking about like what dissolves in what, that becomes really important in cooking because you know, there's a lot of flavors that dissolve in fat. So, you know, like jambalaya, for example.
The flavor of jambalaya. I like that. Just like jambalaya flavor, you know. Sorry.
Oh, well, no. I'm talking about that. So, jambalaya, for example, relies on a lot of flavors that dissolve in fat. You know, the stuff that makes peppers hot, capsaicin, for example. And it also uses a lot of relatively fatty meats, chicken thigh, ground beef, andouille sausage. So if you skim off the fat of jambalaya or gumbo, you lose a lot of flavor because that fat is transporting flavor molecules directly to your face.
To your face.
Now, am I right in thinking that the fact that capsaicin dissolves in things with fat in it is why whole milk helps like remove the burning flavor from hot peppers?
Yeah. So what whole milk does is so the capsaicin essentially triggers your pain receptors. So what you're feeling when you eat capsaicin is the truest form of pain because that's literally what it triggers, which means that Homo sapiens is in general are masochists because we literally domesticated a plant because it causes us pain, which I think is kind of funny. But anyways, so what happens is the fat just sort of gives it something to dissolve into because chemicals are always going to move from the highest gradient to the lowest gradient. And I don't remember how tightly capsaicin binds to that receptor, but it'll just flush it out more or less, the whole milk. And
that's also why you should wear gloves when chopping hot peppers, because the capsaicin will stick to the fat in like the skin in your hand. I've made that mistake. And then the capsaicin winds up like in your mucous membranes, like your nose, your lips, and your eyes. That's a fun time.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll leave it there. So a true universal solvent, like in D&D, would dissolve anything, right? Like.
Well, this one doesn't dissolve anything. He said it dissolves sticky stuff.
It's for like adhesives and stuff.
Okay. Like, for instance, Cedric has in his possession currently a Tanglefoot bag. So that is basically a bag of sticky stuff that if you threw it at someone and they didn't make their reflex save, they would be stuck to the ground and unable to move and would either have to sort of like Hulk their way out of it or like cut their way out of it. But if you had a vial of universal solvent, say, you could uncork it, pour it all over the sticky stuff of the Tanglefoot bag, and you would be free. Nice. So that is how universal solvent in D&D works, is that it's specifically for dissolving incredibly sticky things that are like in those own item descriptions. It says that they're like incredibly difficult to break through or whatever. This is the key for that lock, as it were.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's used sort of like orange oil in the real world.
Yeah.
Because a lot of cleaning solutions will just use pure orange oil to dissolve solvents and stuff like that. And Yeah. I don't even know what solvents are now that I think about it. I mean, I know that some of them are highly polar, but things like super glue and stuff like that. I've never actually been curious enough to look at the chemical structures, and now I kind of am.
Science.
All right. Well, I guess we've reached the limit of what we want to talk about then.
Okay, that was a fun chemistry talk.
Yeah. So, Fletcher, I think that universal solvent would have been super handy against that spider web that we ran into in the forest. So, you should definitely keep that around. That sounds like it's going to be super handy.
Yeah, we'll definitely hold on to those.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. If only we could get some kind of like universal cleaning agent for my shirts. Something that would like whiten everything it encountered with,
OxyClean.
Isn't that what that spell's for?
What spell?
Fletcher.
Pops, do you have anything like that?
Cleaning spell?
You mean prestidigitation?
Aren't we still right next to Pops?
What? Are you still right next to Pops?
Aren't we still right next to him? We didn't walk away.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Pops, do you have anything like that? You could pour all over his shirt and make it clean?
Do I have anything that you could pour all over his shirt and make it clean? That...
See how filthy it is? He's constantly filthy.
I mean, it's not dirty, it's just stained. It's just stained.
In my shop, you mean?
Yeah, we could stop by and purchase.
I mean, let me think. I mean, I've got potions of blur, which would sort of make you harder to see. And what else have I got? I've also got potions of displacement. Again, makes you hard to see.
Well, Pops, I think you're just playing into all of our subtle wish that Cedric were just a little bit less here.
Wait, you guys wish that I wasn't here?
No, not here. Just like not so here.
Fluvis is like snorting behind his hand.
Cedric takes one step back. Like this?
You just like that.
Oh, all right. Sorry. Didn't realize, personal space, I didn't realize it was, like, correlated with height or whatever. Like DC buildings. So Pops doesn't sell bleach or OxyClean or hydrogen peroxide?
No, I don't really deal in sort of domestic chemicals, as it were. Yeah, most of my goods are for more adventurous types, as it were, which I suppose is all of you. You really are a fun bunch.
Adventurous.
I can tell. Yeah. So yeah, I don't really have anything for like cleaning. Although it sounds like your friend's casting ability does a pretty good job of that, so...
Well, I did it once, and everybody gets one, so that's not happening again.
That seems like a fair system, yeah. Yeah, well... Everybody gets one.
Everybody gets one.
one free prestidigitation.
One free cleaning. You're like a dentist.
Can I use
it's really...
Cleaning once a year.
It's really good for all of you that Cedric doesn't have that policy with his healing spells.
Yeah.
Oh god, at the higher levels, this is going to turn into a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Cedric withholding the healing unless he gets his shirt clean.
Clean my shirt first, then I'll save your life.
Well, yeah. Well, maybe we'll check with Elsa if she has something. But yeah, I guess it was nice running into you, Pops. And thanks for identifying these little vials.
Yeah, of course. It was lovely to see all of you again. Stop by my shop any time. And Fluvis sort of like behind his shoulder is like, he means anytime. And the two of them sort of wander off through the crowd.
I like him. He's so friendly.
You like everybody.
That's not true. I don't like Virgin.
That is true.
I feel, Fletcher, I feel like Cedric spends a lot of time talking about the kinds of people he doesn't like.
Perhaps he doth protest too much.
I mean...
It means, Cedric, maybe you're actually secretly a piece of garbage, and you're overcompensating.
What? That doesn't make any sense at all.
Fletcher just chuckles about it, like it was clearly a joke.
I don't know. Why would you say that? What evidence has been provided? I am a good person. I will have you know, I am a very good person.
He's just laughing harder and harder as Cedric keeps taking this really seriously.
Look, I don't have to take this from you. I'm having a good day. I'm leaving. I'm gonna go get a bird leg from that stand over there. When I come back, we're not gonna talk about this anymore. Yeah, whatever kind of birds they have on Arda.
Okay.
Fletcher's just doubled over laughing.
When I come back with my bird leg, I'm like...
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Lucanus follows Cedric over to the bird leg tent.
I'm just assuming there's a place I can get like I want like a turkey leg, but I'm settling for whatever they have.
Yeah, so there are multiple, like I said, there are stalls for like multiple restaurants. So there's one for a restaurant called Enigma. And there's one for a restaurant called, what was it called? Savory Evening? Hey.
Enigma sounds like it's outside of my price range.
There's also another bakery called Sweet Treats.
I want to go up to Savory Evening. Do they have like a...
Yeah, I'm interested in that as well.
Yeah, what does Savory Evening have on...
Yeah, so you go up to the table and there's a variety of sausages, both dark and light colored, and also, yeah, some roasted, like, cuts of things. Yeah, looks like there's like duck and chicken and maybe some pork.
Is there like a bit that has a bone in it, like as a handle? Like, can I buy like a half a duck?
Absolutely, yeah, you can get like a half a duck.
Okay, yeah, I want a half a duck.
Okay, you want a half a duck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be a half a duck is gonna be a gold piece.
Oh wow. All right.
And the shop owner says, "Oh, that's been slow roasted for like 2-3 days."
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Some that slow roasted yes.
So yeah, all the fat is nicely rendered because duck is so fatty, but yeah,
so
crispy
good.
skin.
So
yeah.
good.
Yep.
Yes. Now I would eat that. Yes. I'm buying it, and then I'm gonna go back over to Fletcher, and I'm gonna pretend that nothing happened, and that I'm not upset. And that is an 18 on my bluff check.
Okay.
Do they have like turkey legs there?
It doesn't look like he has turkey, but there's chicken, there's duck, there's pork, and there's all these sausages. And it looks like there might be like buns for the sausages too.
Yeah. Can I get a sausage?
Yeah. Would you like knockwurst or bratwurst or
Let's do a bratwurst.
Okay. Would you like a bun or just on a skewer?
Bun, please.
Sausages in a bun just makes me think of Cut My Own Throat Dibbler from Discworld books.
What?
Really? Nothing?
What just happened there? I have not read the Discworld books. Would you like sauerkraut on that?
Yes.
Side of hot potato salad? I'm making myself hungry right now.
Sauerkraut.
Sorry. Like, all of my best Chris Kindle marked memories.
Sauerkraut and a good mustard.
Yeah, that's right. Alrighty. That will be 5 or yeah, that'll be 2 silver.
All right.
Cedric goes back over to Fletcher and he's like, "This duck is really good. Do you want some?"
Fletcher's like wiping like the tears from his eyes. And he's like, "Yeah, sure. Maybe I'll buy some more bread later."
That's what those sleeves of your big your wizard's robe are for blotting away tears, right?
I like tear off like the wing and give it to you. Like not a huge piece, but a medium-sized piece.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty good. Good stuff.
So you guys want to wander over into the Temple District? Take a look at the. I can show you the Church of Moradin. We don't really need to like talk to those guys, but the church is pretty nice. If you guys want to look at it. It's the only place I know where it is in town.
I don't know. You found that brothel pretty easily.
Well, yeah, but that's because I'm a trained adventurer. Is there something you guys would like to do?
Fletcher's just desperately trying to figure out a way to not have to go to this place where Cedric's gonna just talk a lot.
I don't know. We have that meeting tomorrow. Perhaps we should just turn in.
It's like
At
2 in
noon.
the afternoon.
Oh, I thought it was later.
No, we watched a parade. We had a like 3-minute conversation, and then we bought food. The parade was at noon. I mean, I feel like we should like wander around town. We haven't really wandered around town much. Do you guys want to go like look at the new Explorers building that's opening soon?
Ooh, that sounds like a good idea.
Okay, so Church of Moradin, not interested, but new Explorer building, you guys are super interested in. I see how it is. No offense taken. All right, I guess we'll go that way.
Quickly walk by the church on the way.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to do. I didn't want to go in. Those guys are jerks. But we can at least go by.
I mean, it kind of makes sense because if you'll remember from your few forays to the western part of the town, the Temple District and the Entertainment District are kind of adjacent to one another.
Perfect. So we'll just go through the Temple District real quick, and then
Walk
we'll go
by.
on to, we'll walk by and go to the Entertainment District.
Taking the scenic route.
Mm-hmm.
Just a
Cool.
quick flyby.
Quick flyby. Yeah.
Right.
So as you walk through the Temple District, there's a park. There are a whole bunch of church buildings, sort of, again, like the rest of the town, sort of not completely haphazardly arranged, but like, you know, they're not in exactly like neat rows or anything either. And there are a lot of them, which really isn't news to any of you because you've grown up in this world where religion is a complicated thing because the gods are not present in any sort of they're not present in the way they were historically, or so you've heard. So there are multiple interpretations for at least most of the major religions. So you see, multiple churches to Pelor, to Garl Glittergold, to Hieronius, You see two different churches with the Moradin symbol on them, one quite a bit more austere and imposing than the other. You see some smaller shrines. There is a graveyard of sorts. So yeah, that's the temple district.
I don't show them. I just show them the austere one. I'm just like, this is the Temple of Moradin. See, clean lines, very simple architecture. As you can see, there's a chimney where the forge smoke comes out of in the top. The hammer symbol is a symbol of Moradin. The stone is local. The buttresses are, a unique architectural design. You see, there's several of them. That's for structural integrity.
Is Cedric walking backwards the whole time he gives this tour?
Yes. So you'll notice the doors are made out of iron and built on hydraulic hinges, so they swing well. It's dwarven craftsmanship for you. It's top-notch stuff. That's all I got.
It's wonderful, Cedric.
Yeah, it's pretty well built. I mean, I think they did a good job. All right, are you guys ready to go now? You wanna go inside? We can go inside if you really want to.
Nope. See, we're still walking. We gotta go.
I mean, like, they're probably making something really cool right now. The forge.
Quick flyby, remember?
Oh, okay. Well, next time?
Next time.
Yeah, all right. Cool.
Sure.
Okay, so you walk through the temple district, and where are you heading?
To the Adventurers Guild building?
Yeah, the Adventurers
Yeah,
Guild.
the Adventurers building.
Right. So that is, Lucanus has been to that site at least once before. On your very first day here in the city, you went to the office of the Royal Academy of Explorers very briefly, and it was still
Like a week ago.
Yeah, it was a week ago. No, it was like a week, maybe over a week ago. You spent a long time in the grasslands. Anyway, yeah, so you were to the site once before. And even though it doesn't seem like it was that long ago, it has changed noticeably since last time you were there. When you were there last time, there were a lot of workmen outside carting things around. There was a lot of exterior work still being done. But now you can see the exterior appears to be finished. You don't see workmen out and about around the outside. So you see it's a very nice looking red brick building with green wooden shutters framing real glass windows. There's a broad green double door at the front that's up, on a little stone stoop. A tile roof. There's a balcony on the front of the second story of the building. So yeah, you don't see anybody immediately like out and about around the exterior.
We got invited to the opening celebrations. When are those?
We did. They're on the 11th.
Oh, okay. So not for another couple of days.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow's our meeting with that captain. And the 11th is the opening.
Oh, yeah, that's days away.
Yeah.
I'm going to get restless before then. Have to get out of town. Well, it's a pretty nice building. How do you think they got the funding for this building? Is there like a...
This is... Well, what do we... What do we already know about this guild?
We've only met Casper, right? So...
Is it a branch of a bigger thing, so they just built this here as a branch of the society?
Fletcher, you can do,
No.
Yeah, you can do like a...
What would that be?
Like knowledge history, is that a thing you've got?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so give me one of those.
Sweet.
16.
Oh. That's
Okay,
good.
yeah. So, you spent a fair bit of time in the capital city of Tenebria, which is called, if I'm scrolling, I made too many places. Dormont. So yeah, you spent a fair bit of time in Dormont when you were there at university. So you know that the Royal Academy of Explorers has existed in Dormont for like a long time, and at its inception, it was basically like a gentleman's supper club kind of thing, you know, for hobbyists and whatnot.
Not that kind of gentleman's club.
A gentleman's supper club. But it has grown over the years, and most specifically in the last, 10 to 20 years, it's really grown to be a robust community of people, mostly men, working on cartography, recording histories, and exploring the rest of this planet. Part of the reason for its recent success is that when King Harris Turner left the throne and his daughter Queen Matilda took over running Tenebria, Queen Matilda is a patron of the arts and sciences, and she has financially supported the Academy of Explorers and turned it into the Royal Academy of Explorers. And so yeah, they've been supported quite a bit in their endeavors. So you imagine that that's probably where they got at least some of the funding for this building. May come from the wealthy people who are members of the Academy, but also there might be some financial support from the royal family itself.
I relay a short version of that to them.
Oh, that makes sense. I was thinking, couldn't be profits from adventuring, because it doesn't seem like anybody's done much adventuring in Arda yet.
No, it sort of seems like it's been, well, us, probably.
Yeah.
No one else seems to even know what's outside the walls of the city.
I mean, the people outside the walls of the city probably know what's outside the walls
They
of the
do.
city.
True.
Yeah. And the orcs.
And orcs and goblins and the Pixians and everyone else who was already living here.
But yeah, the Adventurers Guild, we might be the first. Wait. We're not even members. They don't have. We're the first. Yeah. Yeah.
We're
We're
not
the
members,
first.
but they should be paying us.
Yeah, they should be. Yeah, we never talked to Casper about getting paid, did we?
We'll see him on the 11th.
Okay. That's a good. Yeah.
It's a good couple days away.
So, we need to find Kay, but tomorrow we should really be thinking about what our next move is. After we warn the city guard tomorrow, we should be thinking about leaving the city. We've still got to investigate the fish issue,
Yeah, that's
and
been a while.
yeah,
The fish you?
the fish issue.
We gotta catch some birds.
Yeah, we do have to catch some birds.
Although we were going to do that to help a family that has now left.
That's a good point. Oh, that's a very good point. But Shawan seemed like the kind of person that wouldn't be a good idea to cross.
No, she's expecting that stuff from us now.
Yeah.
But she didn't give us a deadline.
No.
That's
She
true.
hasn't come around asking.
But yeah.
Although
We've
I
already
suppose,
made one enemy
although I
in
suppose
town.
in my case it might not be a bad idea to have somebody on our side who could potentially be able to deal with Wargen.
Yeah, I mean, I think it sounds like a smart idea to be able to pit the elements of the city's underbelly against each other. These unsavory types, they are, getting into fights all the time, and their allegiances are weak. I bet they'd take each other out with a little bit of prompting.
Yeah, but we have to make sure that the right person wins.
Well, it seems like they're both the wrong person, so it doesn't matter to me which one of them wins. The enemy of my enemy, they're both my enemies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'd rather the person who we owe survives than the person who's, trying to, well, origin.
Yeah, so what do we do in the meantime about Origin? Sounded like there were
Lucanus
some.
just shrugs.
I mean, you told us you saw some rather tough-looking people in there besides Origin, so clearly just trying to scare them off or take them out is not going to work.
No.
Um, Maybe we just tell him she's dead. Lucanus killed her, and there's, he's not going to recoup his loss, so
So then we'll end up being in some kind of debt to him because he felt like he owned her and now she's dead. That's not good.
no, it's not good. But is it worse?
We're already in debt to Sawan.
Is it worse than Lucanus just being a kidnapper?
I mean, yes, by definition.
Oh,
I mean, but he doesn't even know what Frank even really looks like.
that's
Couldn't
true.
even describe it properly you just said it's a big dark complexioned person. I mean, we could frame everything on that drow if we really wanted to.
Well, no, yeah. I mean, we could. Obviously, we're not going to, because I mean, it's just a poor, helpless citizen.
Yeah, as long as he keeps it vague, we should be good.
Yeah. Just try not to be vague looking. Should be fine.
And we can just avoid the slums, which I don't think any of us will really have argue against.
Yeah. Do you guys want to go
Uh,
to Kay's parents' store and try and convince them to tell her that we're looking for her? Because I'm really worried about her.
I don't know if she wants to see us again the day after meeting us, Cedric.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
She was not a fan.
Yeah. All right. Well,
We could walk by the shop. Maybe we'll see Kay. If she's at work, she does deliveries. Maybe we'd see her coming or going, especially on a busy day like a holiday.
okay. Yeah, let's do that. Uh,
Okay, so you're going back toward the New Sechester General Store.
mhm.
Yeah.
yeah,
You're doing just some like drive by, like window shopping, like walking by and just like looking in.
trying to not appear too obsessed or stalkery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all just weird new people in this city who literally can't do anything without.
Hi,
without-
we're three grown men looking for your teenage daughter.
We can't function without her helping us do things.
She's the only one that knows what's going on.
Hmm. I feel like Veronica's gonna have something to say about that. All right.
Wow.
So you head back to the New Sechester General Store. Again, this is one of the largest buildings in the Market District. It's nicely whitewashed, parchment windows on the front and sides of the store, and it's got this nice big hand-lettered black New Sechester General Store sign above it.
We don't.
We're just walking by.
Yeah, we're just walking by, and like trying to look through the windows to see if we see Kay.
Okay. So since they're parchment, you can't really see like through them. It's not like a glass window. But the door is open to let in the nice fresh spring air. And so inside, you can see. Who can you see? Sort
Awkward
of.
eye contact with her
Yeah.
mom as we go by. We're like,
You can see a middle-aged human man with a broad, plain, honest face, mousy brown hair, kind of thinning at the edges, and placid gray eyes. So he's doing work in the store, and sort of nearby him in the store is a blonde human boy just sort of messing around, playing.
Nope, I didn't see Kay.
no Kay.
No Kay. I guess we should go back to the Marked Bird and get drunk. What do you guys think about that?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, we got nothing else to do, and it's a holiday.
Yeah!
Okay, so you do that. You hang out at the Marked Bird, and you get messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Leon's not there, right? So I
He just left his business open to be ransacked by.
I mean, at this point in the afternoon, like you're able to get into the building because he's in there again. Like, yeah,
Aw.
yeah. At this point in the afternoon, he's come back.
How was his reading a book in the park?
It was very peaceful. I quite enjoyed it. Did you all have a good day with the holiday?
Yeah, it's good. I like the
Yeah, it was
parade
great.
and the puppet show, and I had half a duck.
My goodness, you made quite a day of it.
Yeah. It was good.
Oh, did Cedric get duck grease on his shirt?
Oh, definitely.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. But not in his beard is like
Oh, it's like shiny.
shiny.
Ooh.
Mhm.
Glistening.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well
Ah.
oiled.
And now it smells like duck.
Smells
Ugh.
delicious.
Using-
You're welcome,
Using
both
duck
of
fat
you.
as beard oil.
Yeah.
I feel like using duck fat as beard oil would actually be like a
His
legitimate-
mustache
Cedric's
is
beard
on
oil.
point. I am just telling you, nothing makes better. You know.
We're starting a Kickstarter right now.
For
Cedric's
Cedric's
beard
beard
oil.
I have made my own beard oil before, but
Well-
we don't need to go down that rabbit hole.
Oh wow, your hipster points just went through the roof, man.
Yes, I feel like they already were. It's already over 9,000, so you know.
Yeah.
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 Flannel, the awesome mustache.
Yep. Mhm. Mhm.
I mean,
All right.
you look like you're just brimming with knowledge of bands that nobody's ever heard of.
I mean, he's also sitting there drinking a Natty Bow.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah. Speaking of
Maryland
drinking.
represent.
Speaking of drinking, is that what y'all are doing for the rest of the 6th?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna get hammered.
Okay. So you do that, and then I guess once you're done doing that, you stumble up to bed?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cedric tells you guys so much more than you wanted to know about his cousin's rat farm.
But Fletcher drinks enough to actually be interested and talk to Cedric about it.
That's very kind of you.
Yeah, well, you know, there's a lot of issues with like disease control, and you know, you got predators down in the caves. You know, like there's a lot of like
Yeah.
interesting. Hey, out of character, I'll say agricultural science is really fucking interesting. So you know,
Yeah.
that's maybe
story.
Fletcher has his eyes opened a little bit to the interestingness of agricultural science.
I think we
Livestock
bond a
management.
little bit over it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Fletcher has his own experience with agricultural science, so
Do you keep them in like little tiny, pens with little tiny fences?
Well, they would just climb over the fences. So they have to have, the rats are real good climbers. So,
Real good jumpers.
real good jumpers. Yeah. So, we have basically you build like a pit, and then you put a layer of wood over top of the pit. But then you got to change it because they climb up the walls of the pit, even though they're like real sheer. They're real good climbers. You got to make that like, I mean, dwarven smooth, if you know what I mean. Like, this is a well-mortared stone. And then, the roof of the pit has to be solid wood, but then you got to replace that because they'll still chew through it after a couple of months. So you got to replace that pretty often. You can flip over the lid, so you get 2 uses out of it, but then after that, you basically got to plane it down, start over again. So, it's...
Why don't you guys use metal lids?
They're too heavy, and just not very efficient.
What do you feed them?
We make pellets out of this like nutritional fungi that grows in the caves nearby. Nobody in my family does it, but like they're the family across the river, mushroom farmers, right? So they grind up the mushrooms, they make these pellets out of them, and we feed those to the rats. They're no good to eat, the mushrooms, but they're good for livestock food.
Do you finish the rats on anything to improve their taste?
Yeah, honestly, how can you improve the taste of a rat? It is already perfect. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's all I got. But yeah, my cousin.
Are there different grades of rat? Is there a Wagyu rat?
Oh, the ones my cousin breeds are top notch. They're the best rat. They're talking about a really high fat to meat, ratio. So you get that really nice ratty flavor. Really you can really taste the mushroom. It just falls right off their little bones, and then their little bones they just crunch in between your teeth, and they're so nice and crispy. My third cousin Doris over on my mother's side, she actually breeds pelt rats for their their skin and their nice lustrous fur. It's good money. She sells. It's value added. So she's producing high end products for the like the ceremonial leather robe market, which is really big in dwarven royalty, yeah, it's a growing field. Yeah, we're all really proud of her.
Wow. Oh, I can't even. Peter, you were talking about yes and earlier this evening. That was gorgeous, and you get inspiration for that.
Oh, hell yeah!
So the way I'm going to run inspiration is that you get an extra D20 that you could use to roll the 5e quote unquote at advantage once for something.
Cool. Is it good for forever?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, awesome.
Until you use it. But you can't get another one until you use it.
Yes. Awesome. So, there's no point in me waxing on more about rats right now. I only get inspiration once, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I enjoyed it, but I guess I disincentivized that to continue. Anyway.
Did you want to? You gotta ask me more questions. What else do you want to know about rats?
No, we're good. Veronica is just leaving ellipses in the chat right now.
When the moderator is telling you to hurry it up,
I know, right? She was like, "This conversation is going downhill."
Honestly, I could stand to hear about rat farming the entire night.
Maybe we'll do a nature chat. In any case, You go to sleep or to trance or whatever. And and then
shaking.
Right, yep.
Weapons sharpening.
Yep. And then you wake up and it is Pelorum, the 7th day of Bloom Run. Good morning.
Good morning. Lucanus is already down at the bar, getting a little bit drunk, day drinking.
Wow.
Morning drinking. Did
Morning
you go to
drinking.
sleep?
I almost feel like
all?
we need to have an intervention now.
Yeah, I know.
Jeez,
I'm
getting a little
slightly
sad.
worried
It's
about
very
Lucanus,
dark.
Yeah.
Ooh. His
Fletcher
drinking
wakes
is
up
a
and
cry
sees
for
his
help.
his open journal that he was like, and sees it. Apparently, at some point last night, he and Cedric were just sitting there and sketching out what a new, improved rat pit would be. And there's
Great
just
use of that
doodles
expensive
and
paper.
like angles of like if you made the pit and angled the walls in, so it was harder to climb up, and like angles and all this stuff written everywhere.
Amazing.
And he's just flipping through that, like, there's like 8 pages of his journal filled with things about rats, and he's like, what?
Amazing.
Been there.
Lucanus
Aw.
raises his glass. That's what you get for getting super drunk.
I'm in my room.
Lucanus just wandered into your room.
It's like with a beer.
This is a beer. I'm just like, oh god.
I thought he was downstairs, but you know what? Let's just keep that. Let's make it.
It's like a fraternity.
He's
At this
now
point, it kind of
wandering
is. We're
around
the
sort
only
of
people
like-
staying in this place.
I didn't say you were the only people staying in this place.
Yeah.
Well, we're the
He's
only
like-
people. Nobody else has interacted with us.
he's like the Elf Lebowski now. He's just sort of walking around.
So when you said that
He's
Lucanus
been
wore a
cooped up too
robe,
long.
did you-
Yeah.
I'm now picturing.
You're picturing what?
You said Lucanus wears a robe. Now I'm picturing the Big Lebowski. It is.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It's like a terry cloth
with-
bathrobe.
But with pointy ears.
Yeah. Lucanus now drinks White Russians.
Do they have White Russians in this universe?
They're
Well, I don't know. That
they're
sounds like a
white
specialty drink.
Tenebrians.
That sounds like a specialty drink. Maybe you should find out.
Ooh, I think I will.
And an albino Aarakocra.
All right. Yeah. Cedric wakes up, does his morning prayers, heads downstairs, walks into the room where I assume that Fletcher and Lucanus are gathered in the.
I'm getting down there a little later today.
His constitution isn't up to it.
All right. In that case, while you're getting ready, Cedric is gonna walk into your room. Just like Lucanus. As soon as Lucanus leaves, Cedric is like walks in. It's like, hey, I was gonna ask, what time?
It's very loud, by the way,
Yeah.
Fletcher.
I'm not necessarily super hungover, but we were like up all night.
yeah. It's abrasive as per usual.
It is. I just woke up and like am trying to fall back asleep.
Hey, Fletcher, do you remember what time our appointment is with Captain What's His Face?
Oh God. In like what time is it now?
Dawn 30.
It's probably like 8-ish o'clock. Like you guys said, you were drinking and you were up late. So
Right.
yeah, little later rising today.
All right, it's like 2 hours past dawn.
Oh God. Like in like 2.5 hours. He said mid-morning. Who knows if he'll even let us in right away when we show up.
Oh, well, I just figure, you always show up like an hour early for any appointment you have, and then if they can see you early, then that's like bonus, right?
Oh, I love Cedric so much.
Let's put a pin in that.
Okay,
We'll
well,
get there.
all right. Well, whenever you're ready, I'll be downstairs with Lucanus.
Close the door on your way out.
Okay, yeah. You want this? Oh, closed. All right.
Close.
All right.
Close.
Yeah.
Then,
Yeah. Cedric pulls the door closed behind him.
then Lucanus is downstairs with Leon. Hey, Leon.
Yeah?
Fletcher suggested a drink called the White Russian. Have you guys heard of that?
I don't know a drink by that name, no.
I'll have to ask Fletcher about it.
When did I say that? I never even said that.
Wait, who suggested the White Russian then?
Well,
I thought it was you,
it
Ryan.
was me, but I said
Oh,
out of
Ryan
character.
called it an albino Aarakocra because he was trying to come up with
That's right. Okay, sorry. Sorry, Leon. Cedric suggested it was a thing.
Oh,
I don't know why the color white would be moving around so fast, but apparently that's what the drink is called.
Russian. Nice.
So yeah, that is not one I know.
It's like, Cedric comes into the room and he's like, oh, it's like a strong mushroom bourbon mixed with a lot of rat milk.
Uh-huh. That sounds very unique.
Yeah, it's very, 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 very expensive because you have to milk a lot of rats to get just a little bit of milk. So, I mean, I've never had one. Only the royalty drink it where I'm from. So,
Dairy rats. They have to be kept in a different kind of enclosure than the rat pit for the meat rats.
oh yeah, yeah.
Because they have to be easier to access.
Dairy rats, meat rats, and pelt rats. It's the whole thing.
Veronica
I'm
says
writing
she
this
was
down.
eating and she's not anymore.
Sorry for all our West Coast dinner time audience.
You're not sorry.
I'm not sorry at all.
Well, I'm just thinking of like rats that have been bred like dairy cows now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They've got little black and white spots.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I hope she was eating cereal.
For dinner on a Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing like the rats being milked in The Simpsons, all hooked up to those little suction cup milkers.
Yes. Oh God. I'm just thinking like you could hook 4 of those up to a straw or 6 of them, but it's just I don't know how many nipples a rat has.
Oh my God.
No, all right, hold on, I'm gonna Google it.
I mean, I
That'd be-
actually did Google
12.
milking, and there is a scientific paper on that.
Rats have 12, mice have 10.
Ah, cool.
Well,
Did you know there's only one mammal with an odd number of nipples?
I did.
Yeah,
What mammal is that?
the Virginia opossum. They have 13.
In a like spiral, right?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, they're not right out in like 2 rows like
No.
most mammals. It's like
Yeah.
it's in a circle.
I've only had my hand inside one opossum pouch, but yeah, it's real weird in there.
You had your hand inside an opossum pouch?
I did. One of the perks of working at a wildlife rehab.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So when I was sort of transitioning from being a full-time full-time, part-time environmental educator to going back to grad school to become a research biologist, one summer I worked at a wildlife rehabilitation center, which was amazing. It was really, really interesting. I learned a lot of cool things. I held a lot of interesting animals. I was peed on by a lot of interesting animals. I gave
I've
many.
been peed on by a lot of interesting
Right.
animals.
I gave a lot of raccoons vaccines, and they scream a lot when you do that.
Just like children.
Yeah. But I also, there was a day where a family brought in an opossum who, she'd been in some sort of scuffle of some kind, was the best we could tell. She had wounds on her, but they were kind of older, but it looks like she had maybe gotten an infection in those wounds, and it also seems like maybe in the scuffle her spine had been broken, because the family found her like in the middle of the day dragging herself across their yard, which is like
Oh.
not what opossums do, or not what they're supposed to do, right? So she unfortunately did not make it, but she had 13 babies in her pouch. And so I pulled all 13 babies out of the pouch, and then we raised them like we do with many orphaned animals. But it's really interesting. Not only were there 13 babies, so one for each nipple, opossums can actually have more than 13 babies, but then, of course, there aren't enough nipples for all of them. But the nipples are weird. They're very, like, long. And I guess this is the thing, this might be true for most marsupials, but like the nipple is very long, and so when the baby crawls in there, because they're not fully developed yet, that's why they hang out in the pouch, is to continue developing. The opossum babies actually like swallow the nipple. So they're just like clamped on and kind of like semi-permanently attached. And so the end of the nipple with the hole where the milk comes out is kind of like basically at their stomach inside of them.
Whoa.
So they just like hang out and drink milk all day long. So that was really interesting for me to learn. Yeah. Science. I have
They're like
yet...
little mini Luke Skywalkers.
What?
He's
In
talking
what
about
way?
the tauntaun, I think, is where he's going with that.
No, the green milk in the new movie, how he just sort of...
Oh, yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
He didn't swallow that nipple.
No.
He probably could have.
He
But, I
just
mean, you don't know his
squirted it in his-
day-to-day life.
No, that's more like Cedric drinking, eating anything. Just like just all in his beard and gross.
Yeah, that was weird. But yeah, I have yet to come up with an adequate description for what the inside of the opossum's pouch feels like.
Wow.
Because it's like, so it's skin, right? There's not like fur in there, right? But it's, I don't know, it's just weird. Sorry, Veronica. She said dinner is done. I'll come back to it later. But yeah, it's like warm, and I'm gonna use that word everybody hates, but it's like moist, right? And which is like the whole idea. It's supposed to be an environment that's conducive to the babies developing and like staying warm and comfy and safe, right? But that, like, the fact that it's like this kind of warm, moist, unfurred skin meant that it was kind of like, sticky is the wrong word, but you kind of know what I mean, right? Like you stick your hand in and the skin is kind of like tacky against you. It was weird. Like, it's really cool that I got that experience, and it's a great story to tell people, but yeah, I don't really have a way of explaining exactly what it felt like.
It's like clingy, like a... Have you been wearing a nitrile glove for too long and it's sweaty inside and it's like clingy and...
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah. Yep, opossums, nipples. We were on rat nipples. We were on rat milk. We were on white, whatever you're calling them now.
Albino Aarakocras.
Something like that.
So, what should we bring to this meeting? Whatever happened to that orc head?
That is a great question.
We've still got it.
We have it.
I just left it in my room.
Ugh.
I don't know how you're sleeping around that thing.
Why?
The smell.
I mean, it just smells like, it's only been dead for like 4 days. Doesn't smell that bad.
Oh.
I mean,
How
bad does it smell compared to a rat farm?
I have no idea.
Well, rats are kind of clean animals.
If you clean out the pit, rats keep themselves clean.
They really do. They clean
They're
themselves like
smart,
little
tiny
cats.
little things.
Yeah,
Did
they're
you
adorable.
know that on average a rat spends more time a day cleaning itself than cats do?
I did know that.
Yep.
But yeah, I think you still have to clean out the manure.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
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 Or unless they were like litter box trained.
Mm-hmm. Our pit rats are not litter box trained. And you have to You have to build a winch to haul the manure up, but it makes great mushroom compost. So
You have like a closed loop in your production of these.
Self-sustaining agriculture. I'm all about that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're all about the sustainable agriculture in the caves where I grew up.
You guys.
You would have to be.
Because if you run out, you're dead.
Exactly. Yeah.
They're like ants.
Yeah.
Anyways, so who wants to go up and get the orc head and bring it?
I'll get it.
Okay, you get the orc head and you bring it back down into the dining room, and Leon and the few other people that are in there just kind of recoil. It does not smell good. And, like, it's in a bag, but, like, the bag has some questionable stains on the outside now, and,
That
like,
thing
it
must
just
look so gross.
it looks real weird.
There's definitely like a spot on the floor where it was sitting.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, that's just like it's gonna be dark for a while.
And since Lucanus is already kind of like the kind of drunk that you get when you start saying inappropriate things, he just sort of points at the bag and he's like, "Hey, it looks like your shirt, Cedric."
Yeah, my shirt does not look this bad. That is
You definitely-
unfair.
You definitely lost the security deposit on your room with that stain on the floorboard. Leon has the rag that normally he uses to, like, wipe up the bar just, like, over his nose and his mouth.
We should probably get that out of here so we don't, hurt our friend's business.
Yeah, bitte.
Fletcher starts coming down the stairs, and he's like, huh, and he runs back upstairs.
All right, Cedric carries it outside and just like leans it up, like puts it like right against the side of the building, but just like outside the front.
Marvelous.
Lucanus hears Fletcher run back and peeks his head up there, and he's like, "Hey Fletcher, do you have an air freshener spell?"
You do actually.
You just hear hurling.
Okay, take your time.
Cedric, outside, it is a little bit warmer than yesterday and still breezy and clear. Another absolutely beautiful spring day.
Oh man, that's gonna be great for the heads.
Yeah. There aren't like a ton of like street mongrels in this city, but like you see like maybe a dog's snout poking around the side of a building.
Oh no! All right. I stick my head back in. I'm like, I would have to stay out here with the head so nothing carries it off. I don't want anybody to steal our head.
Oh Lord.
Okay, we'll be ready to face the day soon.
Oh my God. No. He's head sitting.
Yes, my head sitting.
Anything else? Cedric or Fletcher, are you okay?
Yeah, it's a few minutes, but I come back down.
I'm just gonna be like, there's like a bench out front, I guess, that I'm just like sitting on with my head, like kicking my feet.
Just a dwarf and his hammer and his severed orc's head.
Yep. Are you all convening outside once you're ready to go?
Yeah, Lucanus has finished his breakfast and... Yeah.
Yeah, I feel a lot better after hurling. So
You're welcome.
I get some light food.
Okay.
And eat that quickly with water.
Cuddle the stomach. Have some ginger. Okay. And then yeah, okay, so you've got your breakfast, you've got the head. Anything else?
That's pretty much our only proof of what we have to say to them. So
Yeah,
I don't think there's anything else.
I think we're ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's head up there.
Well, so the appointment was for Cedric and I.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
It was
that's
when
right.
we were being careful and you were saying back.
But now that we
Well,
know that
I
the
don't
guard's not
know.
involved, we can bring Lucanus with us.
Hopefully they're not involved. But what if there's shady guards?
Then we kill
I
them.
can stay. I can stay here and keep drinking. I'm fine with that.
I would just be worried that this virgin might have some guards in his purse.
Okay, that's fine. Let me
Oathbreakers.
hang out here and keep doing what I do.
Oh, poor Lucanus gets left behind again.
It shouldn't take long, Frank.
You're sure you're okay, Frank? I feel bad leaving you here.
Lucanus just holds up his mug full of beer and takes a swig.
We'll
alright.
I'm good,
we'll
man.
be back. It shouldn't be long. We'll be back.
Yeah, we'll tell you all about what Captain Dawson-Clark is like. I'm sure they're super nice.
And luckily, we won't be coming back with this head.
Yes. Yes, I imagine they'll want to keep it
Yes.
and inspect it for clues.
Alrighty. So Cedric and Fletcher, you are heading
Heading.
to the fort.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
We walk outside, and I'm like, I'm getting a little worried about Frank.
Yeah. I mean, like,
I don't think I've seen him once for the past 2 or 3 days without a beer in his hand.
yeah. I mean, if he were a dwarf, I wouldn't be worried about him, but I feel like I've heard.
He wasn't like this before.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like the elves don't have quite the constitution that we do. Yeah, I feel like that orc encounter really did a number on him.
Well, he doesn't seem like a talking type, so hopefully it resolves.
I mean, I did say that I'd be willing to talk to him if he wanted. I told him. So, I figure if he wants to talk, he'll just, come talk to me.
Well,
And then I'll
hopefully he does.
yeah, and then I'll just be able to fix his problems, whatever they are.
Keep
I'm-
walking.
I'm real good at advice, by the way. Do you have any like problems you want to talk to me about? I took a class in pastoral counseling when I was in clergy school, cleric school, which I did.
Oh, while we're walking, I go, oh, well, there is this one thing, but I rattle off some, like, it's like an ancient arcane problem from within, like, the university that scholars study that no one can figure out, and I rattle it off to him, and I'm like, so what do you think about that?
Oh, P definitely equals NP. Yeah, I agree. It's, it makes sense to me. I don't understand why it wouldn't. It's obvious. I don't know. Just gut level. I'm just going with that. Yeah. uh,
Oh goodness. And yeah, so you guys make it up to the front of again, and again there are two soldiers out front, sort of guarding the doors, like the last time you were here. So one of them steps forward and says, "Please state your business."
We have a meeting arranged with the captain for today. We were here 2 days ago to arrange it.
Very well, then I can escort you into the captain's office.
You follow him?
Yep, so he escorts you back pretty much the same hallways that you went through before, back up to the desk where you see the same secretarial soldier sitting there, and they have a quick conversation. The secretary checks the schedule and says, yes, right this way, and sort of gestures you through a door and into another office. This one is a little bit bigger than, the little secretary's little, like, ante-room, as it were. And you can see, big wooden desk, some papers and things. There's also a weapon rack against the wall. And there's a figure standing. This room has a small window that looks out onto the ocean, and you can see basically from the body type, you can see the same figure who you saw on horseback the day before at the head of the military column for the parade. Same figure, although not in armor right now, standing with their hands folded behind their back, just looking out the window. So you see person, maybe like 5'8", very slim, and sort of a mid-length haircut that's brown but graying quite a bit. And as the door opens and you step inside, the figure turns around and you see, rather surprisingly perhaps for you, a woman. Again, slim, medium height, mid-length graying brown haircut, and quick hazel eyes that sort of do a quick appraisal of you as you step into the room. And she says, hello, how can I help you?
Yes, hello, Captain. Thank you for making this meeting with us. My name is Fletcher Sampson. And then I gesture to Cedric for you to introduce yourself.
I'm Cedric Gunson.
And we wanted to have this brief meeting with you to let you know of what perhaps could be an important threat to the city from outside the city walls that we encountered out in the wilds.
Yes, my secretary told me that you had some sort of report to give. Please. And she indicates there's a set of chairs sort of in front of the desk that you can sit in.
So we step forward, and then Cedric is still carrying the bag, which I'm surprised no one has mentioned the smell yet, walking through this place.
I mean, the guards definitely did not stand close to him, that's for sure. Yeah.
Then I'm like, well, to go with our story, first, do you have, perhaps you should open the windows, and if you have something that won't stain for us to put our evidence on.
What is your evidence? Is that what's in the in the bag?
Yep.
It is.
Yep, it's a head in a bag.
A head in a bag.
Yeah, it's been there for a couple of days now, so I think it's starting to develop an odor. I don't know if you can tell.
I can. And she sort of mumbles something under her breath and moves her hand, and a spectral hand appears in the air and sort of floats over to the bag, and she says, may I?
Yeah.
Are you going to open the bag?
Yeah, Cedric like opens the bag like this, like really, really wide, like awkwardly.
Okay. The spectral hand
spills out of the bag.
Yeah, the spectral hand dips down into the bag and grabs the orc head by the hair and sort of lifts it up out of the bag and moves it back, into sort of neutral space between all of you guys over just the stone floor. And it just sort of hangs there in space. And she says, yes, that's quite a bit decomposed, isn't it? That's an orc, though, is it not?
Yes.
It is. We, outside the city walls, encountered this orc leading a small band of goblins, and we have reason to believe that other orcs have been spotted in the wilds, and there may be a mounting danger for them encroaching upon New Sechester.
Well, yeah, I suppose I'm not surprised. Where you find one orc, there's usually many more. That is very odd. I mean, we've seen orcs on basically every continent but this one, so to find them here now is strange. I wonder if they're just making use of the newly available real estate, as it were, as are all of us, I suppose. What makes you think it's some sort of invasion or pressing danger, though?
Well, we were attacked, and we did meet others living in the wild who are good people, and they have also been feeling the threat of these orcs. So it seems like their intentions are malicious.
Again, pretty typical for orcs. I've interacted with many, and yeah, most of them are would rather fight than talk. Well, thank you for the information. Where exactly did this combat occur, where you said this orc and its goblin band attacked you?
This was in the grasslands.
The grasslands, yeah, right?
About a day's travel northwest of town through the farm formerly owned by some farmer.
Some farmer. I'm sorry, northwest of the city. That's the river.
Then northeast.
Ah, okay. That makes more sense. So you were perhaps a day outside of town, but you were near one of the farms. That's concerning. We definitely don't want. I know that the exterior farms have issues with goblins and gnolls every once in a while, but to also add orcs to that list is just getting a little out of hand.
Yes, we just didn't want the city to be caught unawares, since, as you said, there weren't orcs here before.
No, I very much appreciate that. And you said you interacted with other people out there who had also interacted with the orcs in some way? I'm sorry, I didn't follow that part.
There's people, the other people who live outside the walls, like this farmer, Silas.
Oh, so
that
other
was his name, Silas. Yes.
So other farmers have reported attacks by orcs already? I haven't heard anything like that.
Well, various creatures and things that they've seen. Not completely sure of what they spoke.
Wait, what? No, the Abyxians. It's the Abyxians, Fletcher. They had seen.
I was about to make Fletcher do a bluff check, but thanks for just expediting that, Fletcher.
Yeah. Cedric has no guile, so no guile.
No shit. The Abyxians?
Yeah. The Abyxians, the native peoples of the grasslands and the forest and the continent of Arda. We went out there, we met with them, and they told us that they had seen these orcs. They haven't had fought them yet, but they had seen them, and they were worried about them.
Really? That's interesting. I am vaguely familiar with the Abyxians. My understanding was that they're sort of a warrior people, but you said they're concerned about the orcs?
Yeah. I mean, they didn't seem particularly warrior-like to me, but, they seem capable of taking care of themselves, but I think they were
ready to defend, not to attack.
Yeah, they just wanted to know, since they'd never encountered the orcs before, they seemed to believe the orcs were a new thing. So I don't believe that these are native orcs. I feel like maybe they're a recent arrival.
That would make sense. As I said, I have encountered orcs on every continent except this one, so. Well, thank you very much for the information. It's good to know now before things get too out of hand, and we can start sending patrols into the grasslands and investigating to make sure this doesn't become a problem and preventing it from becoming a problem. I suppose we might want to, yes, we might also get some more ships and crew from Tenebria to maybe scout the coastline to see if we can figure out where the orcs are making landfall. So this is all very useful information. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Also, this doesn't appear to be the only non-native species that's causing a problem. We encountered actually a wasp that's causing damage to the agricultural system that the Abixians are using in their forestry. So perhaps you should also dedicate some guards to making sure that you're not bringing in potentially dangerous species with your food shipments from Tenebria.
Well, trade really isn't our purview, but that is interesting to note.
Whose purview is it?
Are we going to try to set up, like, import inspection for invasive species in New Sechester?
Oh, I'm so excited about this.
I'm sorry, I feel like these guards need to take some fucking responsibility. You've created a town and yet taken no responsibility for your actions. You've set up this fucking military post and then they're just like, oh, I mean, I guess there's a town, but it has no governance.
Arda Plant Health Inspection Service.
We're like just gonna dump a bunch of invading people, non-native people here. We've built no government oversight. We're just gonna do whatever we want. Somebody's gotta take responsibility. It's not gonna be Cedric.
All right then. Well, it's not the purview of the people of this fort. We are part of the Tenebrian military, so we are a military presence, and we do provide protection for the people who live here. But this city does not belong to Tenebria. It has its own sort of governmental system, it's a protectorate of Tenebria, I suppose you can say, but this does not strictly belong to Tenebria. So we do not have the same sort of controls on trade that you might find in a city in Tenebria or a city in one of the other countries. This is more sort of a free port, as it were. So many of the traders, I suppose if you were concerned about something being imported, you could speak to all of or some of the merchants and traders and the people doing business. There is a mayor-governor position within the city, as well as the city guard, who do more of the day-to-day enforcement of rules and order in the city. I don't know if that would help assuage your concerns if you went and spoke to someone in that chain of command.
Nope. Fletcher's going to run for governor.
Oh boy.
Okay, yeah, we'll, thanks. That's very helpful.
Of course. You provided me with helpful information. It's the least I could do to return the favor.
Fletcher holds out his hand and says, thank you so much for meeting with us. Captain...
let me make sure I get it right. Carolyn Dawson-Clark.
Thank you so much for your time, Captain Carolyn Dawson-Clark. Carolyn Dawson-Clark. I was like trying to think it, remember it while saying it.
Yep. Thank you so much, Fletcher, and you as well, Cedric. She's shaking your hand with her actual hand. The mage hand is still floating there, holding the head.
Okay. Cedric's like, do you have like a bin for this bag, or should I take it with me, or?
If you just leave it, and we'll take care of it. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Cedric just drops it on the floor. He's like, thank you. Bye.
Goodbye.
Okay. We leave. I guess probably head right back to the marked bird.
You leave. Okay.
We left where we left Frank.
That's where you left Frank. This seems like a great stopping point because it is 9 o'clock my time, or 10 Eastern, so we've been playing for...
10.
Yep, we've been playing for 3 hours. You got rid of the head! Congratulations.
We've been beheaded.
Yes! Oh man.
It's just, it's just a lot off our shoulders.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness, you got rid of the head.
Yeah.
You met Captain Carolyn Dawson-Clark, who runs the naval fort. You experienced the fun of New Sechester Day. Good job, guys. All right. So we will pick up there next time. Thank you to Veronica, War Yoshi, anybody else who was in the chat whose names I can't see right now because my computer was having, or my my laptop was having internet issues. But anyway, thank you so much for watching and hanging out with us. Or if you're out there in podcast land later on, thank you so much to all of our listeners. Hey, our podcast has been downloaded and listened to in at least half of the United States, so that's at least 25 out of the 50 states. So thank you for listening to the podcast. Thank you also to all of our listeners in Canada. We really appreciate you. And we will see you all back here live next Saturday. That's February 1st. Nancy should be back with us. And we will see what Kay, Cedric, Fletcher, and Frank get up to next. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.